The first thing I did after reincarnating as a young Megalodon was to directly turn myself over to the country, launching the entire 1.4 billion people into defense. Just because the Cherry Blossom Nation dumped nuclear wastewater, in 2 months, all marine life would completely mutate. Then the entire Blue Star would become a hunting ground for alien beasts. Human nuclear weapons before these alien beasts are as useless as toy firecrackers. In less than a month, the number of humans eliminated would reach as high as 99%. In my past life, I ultimately gave my all to protect Huaxia, dying in battle within the jaws of alien beasts. When I woke up again, I had actually been reborn as a young Megalodon and awakened the devour-evolution system. As long as I keep devouring, I can evolve infinitely. At this moment, relying on my keen senses, I discovered a group of sea turtles not far away. Devouring them grants evolution points. 1 point has a chance to obtain a special skill of that species. Among the turtle group, there was actually an injured sea turtle. The strong smell of blood attracted several sharks. Then a great white shark close to 4 meters in length suddenly appeared. Warning: detected invasive predator organism. Devouring the great white shark grants 3 evolution points. 5% probability of obtaining species skill. Short-range burst. My pupils constricted. I would never forget this great white shark. On the 3rd day of the alien beast outbreak in my past life, its mutant form, steel jaw shark, crushed the rescue boat I was guarding with 1 bite. The 37 unarmed people on the boat all became its meal. That was before my rebirth. The first time I tasted the feeling of helplessness, the 4-meter great white shark was like a silver torpedo, suddenly crashing into the turtle group. The hard turtle shells under its dagger-like teeth were as fragile as pieces of paper. Blood instantly dyed the entire sea area red. The surrounding sharks immediately became agitated. All gathered around. I suppressed the urge to feed and quietly approached. When that great white shark wasn't paying attention, I exploded with all my strength from my tail. My 3-meter-long body, like a cannonball leaving the barrel, slammed hard into the great white shark's abdomen. The sound of bones shattering exploded in the seawater. The great white shark let out a pained tremor. My body pushed its entire body out of the sea surface, drawing a terrifying arc in the air, before crashing heavily back into the sea. Before it could even turn around to counterattack, my sharp triangular teeth had already sunk deep into its gill slits. That is a shark's most fatal weak point. Host successfully devoured great white shark. Obtained 3 evolution points. Congratulations, host triggered. Skill draw obtained species skill short-range burst. The rush of power from the beginner level swept through my body, and I was completely unaware that the shocking scene of me knocking the great white shark away was being recorded completely by a young fisherman holding up his phone on a fishing boat anchored in the distance. His name was Xiao Hu. In my past life during the apocalypse, he was the one who rowed a small wooden boat through the dangerous cracks to bring us who were guarding the line our last batch of fresh water and food. Finally, he was torn apart on the sea surface by mutant seabirds. Half an hour later, the video titled Prehistoric Giant Shark actually knocks great white shark flying exploded across the entire internet in an instant. Views broke 100 million in 1 hour. The video's explosive popularity also caught the attention of one person, world-class top biologist Jeremy Wade. This old man, who had spent his whole life searching for giant deep-sea creatures, clenched his fist the moment he saw the video. 3 days later, a top-level research vessel arrived at the sea area where the video was filmed. Jeremy put on a full set of deep-sea shark cage gear. Ignoring the guards' attempts to stop him, he insisted on diving into that sea area. He had his crew scatter a large amount of chopped fish bait into the sea. The smell of blood quickly attracted dozens of sharks. But the mysterious giant shark he was looking for didn't show up for a long time. I was 100 meters deep on the seabed. Clearly sensing Jeremy in the shark cage, I slowly swished my tail, swimming towards the shark cage. A huge shadow was cast on the seabed. The surrounding sharks instantly scattered and fled, forgetting even their instinct to hunt. Jeremy, through the tempered glass of the shark cage, saw me slowly approaching. His pupils suddenly contracted. He had seen countless deep-sea monsters, but never in the eyes of a shark had he seen such clear intelligence and calm. Not a hint of bloodthirsty ferocity, only a calmness that bordered on compassion. I stopped in front of the shark cage. No ramming, no biting, just gently tapped the glass with my snout. Jeremy froze for a few seconds. Then, trembling, he reached out his hand, pressing it against the glass on my snout. He could clearly see the teeth in my mouth, like daggers. If I wanted to, this layer of glass and his body would be torn to shreds in an instant. I swished my tail slowly at him, using my body in the seawater to create rhythmic water vibrations. That was Morse code. Nuclear wastewater mutation. Danger. Jeremy's face instantly turned pale. He had studied marine life his whole life and knew better than anyone the impossible damage nuclear wastewater could do to marine genes. He instantly understood the message I was conveying, feeling as if all the blood in his body had frozen. I completed my warning, turned around, swished my tail, and swam towards the deep sea, disappearing into the pitch-black seawater. Jeremy, like a madman, pulled at his communication line, shouting hoarsely at his assistant on the boat, "Hurry! Surface immediately. I need to make this discovery public. This shark is not a monster. It is warning us. A catastrophic disaster is coming." Jeremy's video and research statement swept across the globe within 24 hours. In the video, my massive body swam through the sea. The scene of me touching his hand through the glass completely blew up the internet. My legs went weak just watching through the screen. Can those teeth really chew up an aircraft carrier? It actually has intelligence. The professor said it was delivering a warning. What is this, the son of the ocean? Where are all those people who said the wastewater was fine? Come out and show yourselves. The prehistoric giant shark has more conscience than you guys. Overnight, countless internet influencers, explorers, and thrill seekers flocked in. This sea area became the hottest check-in spot globally. They didn't know. This sea area they were eagerly drawn to had already become a breeding ground for nuclear radiation mutations. I was 1,000 meters deep on the seabed, chasing a deep-sea creature, when the system's alarm suddenly blared. Detected mutated organism. Deformed octopus, body length 8 meters. Level 5, emitting radiation. Devouring mutant grants 5 evolution points. 10% probability of obtaining species skill, Master of Disguise. In the thick darkness, several thick tentacles like steel whips tore through the water, lunging straight for my face. This octopus's tentacles were covered in mutated suckers. The broken ends were regenerating at a visible speed. Nuclear radiation had completely messed up its genes. Suddenly triggered short-range burst, instantly dodging the deadly strangulation of the tentacles. The cold tentacle tips grazed my skin. The water currents they stirred up scraped painfully against me. In my past life, the mutated form of this deformed octopus was one of the most troublesome monsters on the sea defense line. Their tentacles could drill through steel plates. Their regenerative abilities were ridiculously strong. I don't know how many soldiers died in their strangling grips. More tentacles surged from the darkness, completely surrounding me. Instead of retreating, I charged forward, biting frantically at the base of the tentacles. The tentacles I bit off fell to the seabed, still writhing wildly. Instantly, new tentacle tips grew out, just as I was locked in battle with the mutated octopus. Human screams came from the sea surface. An influencer's speedboat was parked nearby. The streamer was waving his phone, screaming at the sea. He threw a few pieces of whale meat into the sea. The smell of blood completely enraged the mutated octopus. The deformed octopus suddenly abandoned its fight with me. Several tentacles burst out of the sea surface, tightly snaring a girl's ankle on the speedboat, instantly dragging her into the sea. The girl's scream stopped abruptly. The water was instantly stained red with blood. The people on the speedboat were terrified. The streamer frantically steered the boat, trying to escape this deadly sea area, but the deformed octopus had no intention of letting them go. More tentacles wrapped around the speedboat's hull. The fiberglass hull let out a sound of unbearable strain. I watched this scene. Memories of my past life surged again. Scenes just like this, played out countless times during the apocalypse. Unarmed humans, before mutant alien beasts, don't even have a chance to struggle. I suddenly swished my tail. My entire body like a cannonball shot out of the sea surface, opening my giant maw. I bit down hard on the main body of the deformed octopus. My sharp teeth instantly pierced its body. Even as its tentacles wildly lashed my body, I held on tightly, refusing to let go, until I completely crushed its body with my bite. Host successfully devoured mutant deformed octopus. Obtained 5 evolution points. Congratulations, host triggered. Skill draw, obtained species skill Master of Disguise beginner. Detected host devoured nuclear radiation. Mutant. Awakening. Passive skill radiation immunity beginner. I snapped back to reality from the system notification sound, seeing the girl who was dragged into the sea, sinking slowly towards the seabed, already unconscious. Her name was Su Wan. In my past life, she was a field medic on the East China Sea defense line during the apocalypse, when I was critically injured and dying. It was her while under fire from alien beasts who gave me emergency treatment. In the end, to cover the evacuation of civilians, she died under the venomous fangs of a mutated sea snake. I quickly swam under her, using my broad back to steadily support her limp body as it slowly floated up, bringing her to the side of the speedboat. The people on the speedboat were scared stiff until I gently pushed the girl's body with my snout. Only then did they snap out of it, fumblingly pulling the girl back onto the boat. I watched them rescue the girl, then turned and disappeared beneath the surface. And this scene was streamed live by the streamer on the speedboat. The online viewers in the live room instantly exceeded tens of millions. Hashtag intelligent giant shark rescues person, son of the ocean. The tag instantly topped global trending topics. Countless people watched the video of me tearing apart the mutated octopus in one bite and then gently lifting the girl onto the boat, completely breaking down emotionally. But no one knew, on the other side of the Earth, in a top-secret biological research institute, this video was playing on a loop on a big screen. The head of the institute, Dr. Rosen, watched me on the screen, a fanatical greed burning in his eyes. This madman was the same one in my past life, who secretly supported the nuclear wastewater dumping, even privately conducting radiation mutation experiments on marine life, the apocalypse's outbreak. He was at least half responsible for it. When escaping, it was only 3 meters, and in a few weeks it grew to 8 meters. Dr. Rosen's finger slammed hard on the screen, shouting at the researcher behind him, "I don't care what species it is, and I don't care why it grew so fast. I want you to capture it. I want to cut it open and study it. I want to figure out the genetic secrets of this ancient creature." The researcher behind him trembled all over, not daring to object. No one knew that Dr. Rosen had already allied with the transnational illegal biological group, Abyss Hunter. They had already sent their most elite deep-sea capture fleet, racing at full speed towards the sea area I was in. I was completely unaware of this. Diving further down, entering the pitch-black deep sea 2,000 meters below, this was a place sunlight never reached. The water pressure was enough to crush an ordinary submarine into scrap metal, but to me now, it was as easy as a backyard. Detected organism. Deep sea anglerfish. Devouring grants 1 evolution point. 3% probability of obtaining species skill light organ. I gobbled them one by one, crunching the anglerfish that came close. The light organ skill seemed useless, but I knew from my past life, among the later mutant alien beasts, there were plenty of deep-sea species that feared light. This skill would become their nemesis. Just then, a harsh sound of metal grinding came from afar. A human deep-sea probe was wobbling its way down. The alarm lights on the probe flashed wildly, clearly exceeding its maximum diving depths. Inside the probe, a man and a woman stared intently at the screen. The woman was called Xia Yu, a top domestic deep-sea exploration expert. The man was her assistant. In my past life, Xia Yu was the one controlling the deep-sea probe, at the peak of the apocalypse, who relayed the movements of the alien beasts to us. Eventually, the probe was torn apart by the beasts. She didn't even leave a trace behind. Let's try again. This is a perfect chance to break the world record. Xia Yu gripped the controls tightly, ignoring her assistant's attempts to stop her, insisting on diving deeper. "Professor, your life is more important. The water pressure is at its limit. We can get the data another time." The assistant's voice was choked with tears. The next second, a dull thud echoed. The entire probe shook violently. Both of them were thrown hard against the cabin walls. Xia Yu looked out through the observation window. Her pupils suddenly contracted. 2 massive shadows were locked in a vicious fight in the pitch-black deep sea. One of them was me. Detected. Organism giant squid. Body length 18 meters. Level 7. Devouring the level 7 mutant grants, 10 evolution points. 8% probability of obtaining species skill. Deep sea glide. This giant squid's tentacles were as thick as steel cables. Its suckers were lined with sharp barbs, lashing hard against my body, instantly leaving several bloody gashes. It was the top predator of the deep sea. Nuclear radiation had multiplied its size and strength several times over. In my past life, these mutant giant squids could easily capsize a 10,000-ton cargo ship. Its tentacles wrapped around my torso. A feeling of suffocation hit me instantly. I had fought these monsters countless times in my past life. I knew their weakness very well. I suddenly turned my head, biting down hard on its thickest main tentacle. My sharp teeth severed its nerves instantly. The immense pain made it suddenly release its grip, instinctively trying to escape. But I didn't give it a chance. Short-range burst triggered instantly. My entire body lunged forward, biting down hard on its head. No matter how wildly its remaining tentacles lashed my body, I held on tight, until its struggles grew weaker and weaker. Finally, it completely stopped moving. Host successfully devoured mutant giant squid, obtained 10 evolution points. Congratulations, host triggered. Skill draw, obtained species skill. Deep sea glide beginner. Host level raised to level 7. Body length increased to 12 meters. Unlocked deep sea extreme pressure immunity. I shook off the blood and grime from my body, looked up and saw the deep sea probe nearby. I remember Xia Yu. I remember everything she did for humanity in her past life. I slowly swam up to the probe, not attacking. Just gently tapped the observation window with my snout. Inside the cabin, Xia Yu looked at this huge creature before her, her whole body trembling. She had just witnessed this giant shark tear apart a giant squid that could entangle even a submarine. But now there was no malice in its eyes, only a familiarity and gentleness she couldn't understand. I faced the probe, and again created Morse code with my body. Nuclear wastewater. In 2 months, the apocalypse will fully break out. Huaxia's East China Sea defense line must prepare in advance. Xia Yu was instantly frozen. Her teacher Zhao Yingkun, a top domestic expert in marine biology and nuclear radiation, had been frantically warning people that nuclear wastewater would trigger a genetic catastrophe in marine life, but no one listened. Now this intelligent prehistoric giant shark had delivered a message that perfectly matched her teacher's research. I completed my warning, turned around, triggered deep sea glide, and disappeared into the pitch-black seabed. Xia Yu, like a madwoman, maneuvered the probe to surface. She had to go back immediately and tell her teacher all of this. Half a day later, Xia Yu reached land. Bursting into her teacher Zhao Yingquan's office, Zhao Yingquan was sitting in front of the screen, replaying the video of me knocking the great white shark away. His brow was deeply furrowed. This white-haired old man was the supreme commander of the Huaxia East China Sea defense line in his past life. In the final battle, he pressed the nuclear button, dying together with the alien beast that rushed in. He died in the same place I did. Teacher, look. Xia Yu plugged a USB drive into the TV screen instantly. The image of me fighting the giant squid appeared, along with the image of me stopping in front of the probe. It's this shark. It's not just intelligent. It's been sending us warnings, the wastewater. In 2 months there will be an apocalypse. Zhao Yingquan stared at me on the screen, his hands suddenly clenched into fists, the knuckles turning white. He had studied marine ecology his whole life. After the wastewater discharge, the marine life gene mutation data he detected had already exceeded safe levels by 1,000 times. He had always thought he was going crazy, until now he saw the message I had sent. Just then, a sharp phone ring cut through the air. Zhao Yingquan quickly answered. The news from the other end of the line made him shout into the receiver instantly. What they dare to keep dumping? These insane bastards. He had no time to explain to Xia Yu, grabbed his coat and rushed out the door. He had to go to the capital immediately to report all the data, all the warnings to the higher-ups. He knew time was truly running out for humanity. Meanwhile, I was in the deep sea of the Western Pacific, devouring and evolving all the way. I had leveled up my Master of Disguise skill to level 2. I could now mimic the form of any marine creature, maintained for 60 minutes. This skill had saved my life countless times in my past life. Detected organism, Pacific green sea turtle. Devouring grants 1 evolution. Point. I activated Master of Disguise with a thought. My massive body distorted and morphed in the seawater. In an instant, I transformed into a green sea turtle, identical to the ones around me, quietly merging into the turtle group. The lead turtle sensed something unusual, swam up to me and looked me over for a moment, finally lowering its guard, leading the group to continue swimming towards the sandy beach ahead. Half an hour later, the turtle group reached the beach, but before they could even crawl ashore, the roar of fishing boats echoed. Several fishing boats charged over. People on the boats held nets and iron hooks. Without a word, they started dragging the egg-laying sea turtles onto the boats. Cries of pain rose one after another. The boats were soon loaded full. These people were peripheral members of the Abyss Hunter group. They captured the sea turtles to use as material for radiation mutation experiments. In my past life, countless marine organisms were destroyed in their experiments. My Master of Disguise effect happened to end just then. My massive Megalodon form instantly reverted, crashed directly into the bottom of a fishing boat. The whole fishing boat, like a paper model, was instantly sunk by my collision. The people on board all jumped into the sea, swimming desperately towards the shore. I flicked my tail. The waves I stirred up sent them flying. As for whether they could make it to shore alive, that was up to fate. After doing all this, I turned and swam towards the deep sea. But before I could get far, the system's red alert suddenly blared. Warning detected high-intensity active sonar. Lock on source. Abyss Hunter encircling fleet. 5 destroyer-class vessels total, heading toward host's location. Warning enemy depth charges detected overhead. Please evade immediately. My heart sank. These lunatics actually deployed military-grade pursuit equipment. No regard for marine ecology just to catch me. In my past life, their sonic weapons trapped me. Depth charges blew me into critical injuries. That's why I couldn't turn the tide in the final defense line. Without a moment's hesitation, I triggered Deep Sea Dash instantly and dove rapidly toward the seabed 3 kilometers deep. But the depth charges behind me came one after another. Terrifying explosions all around me. Bombs detonating in succession. Shockwaves slammed into me like heavy hammers. I was instantly disoriented and dizzy. My diving momentum was violently disrupted. Report, Captain. Depth charges have covered the designated area. Shockwaves confirmed hit. Target's dive trajectory interrupted. Current position 300 meters underwater, deploy ecological jammers. Block his diving route, send underwater assault team. I want him alive. The fleet commander's voice reached my perception through sonar. Intense pain swept through my entire body. My skin was slashed open by explosion debris. Several deep wounds. Visible gashes. Blood continuously poured into the seawater. 3 fully armed frogmen had already jumped off the ship and were rapidly diving toward my location. In their hands, they held tranquilizer guns. The darts inside were specially developed for giant marine creatures. Once hit, even a blue whale would lose consciousness instantly, but they didn't know. This deep sea was not their home ground. It was mine. As the frogman captain dove to 200 meters, he suddenly let out a terrified roar into the communicator. Rice Paddy Soldier is missing. Before his words faded, a grotesque tentacle extended from the darkness, instantly wrapped around the second frogman and dragged him into endless darkness. The screams from the communicator abruptly stopped. The only remaining frogman captain was scared out of his wits. He swam frantically toward the surface like a madman. That was me using Master of Disguise. To simulate a deformed octopus tentacle, I watched his struggling figure as he surfaced and charged at him instantly, biting his oxygen tank to pieces in one crunch, then transformed into his likeness and swam back to the surface. The patrolman on deck saw me emerge, immediately rushed over and hauled me aboard, rushing me to the medical bay at top speed. I lay on the hospital bed, slowly opening my eyes. A cold smile curled at the corner of my mouth. These madmen almost killed me at the bottom of the sea. This debt I will repay 100-fold. Just then, Fleet Commander Fujiwara Kenji walked in. He was the head of Abyss Hunter Group's Asia-Pacific division. In my past life, he had hunted me countless times, his hands stained with the blood of countless marine creatures and humans. Matsushita, are you feeling better now? What exactly happened at the bottom of the sea? I pretended to be weak and asked, I don't understand. Why is our target this time? Just a shark? Fujiwara Kenji sighed, his tone laced with reluctance. It's Dr. Rosen's orders. In this shark's genes lie the secrets of ancient creatures and the ability to resist nuclear radiation. As long as we catch him, we can control the future of the entire ocean. I sneered inwardly. Future, you madmen, will only drag the whole world into hell. I stood up and said to Fujiwara Kenji, since you want so badly to know what happened at the bottom of the sea, then come with me. He didn't suspect a thing and followed me out of the medical bay. I led him to the ship's railing. The moment he didn't react, I instantly reverted to my serrated shark form. My massive head slammed violently into the ship's side. The entire destroyer was instantly torn open with a huge gash by me. Seawater gushed in crazily. Fujiwara Kenji stared at me in terror. Before he could even scream, he was swept into the sea by the waves I raised. I opened my huge mouth and bit down on the armed soldiers following behind him. Their rifles fired at my body. Couldn't even penetrate my skin. Ding host successfully devoured humans. Armed personnel evolution points +2. Ding warning. Remaining 4 destroyers have locked onto host. Torpedoes launched. Please evade immediately. I watched the torpedoes rushing toward me, triggered burst acceleration instantly, and charged rapidly toward the deep sea. The torpedoes exploded behind me. Shockwaves swept over me once again, but this time I was prepared. Riding the momentum of the water flow, I rushed straight to the bow of the fleet. Over the next half hour, this sea area became my hunting ground. Using Master of Disguise, I mimicked reefs, mimicked killer whales, mimicked anything I could think of, launching surprise attacks again and again. One by one, the destroyers were like paper in front of me, sinking one after another. Host successfully destroyed the Abyss Hunter encircling fleet. Evolution points +50. Ding Master of Disguise skill upgraded to level 3. Can now mimic any object form. Duration 24 hours. Ding Devour skill upgraded to level 2 Devour. Evolution points from devouring doubled. Ding host level increased to level 10. Body length increased to 20 meters. Weight 100 tons. All basic genes of prehistoric Megalodon unlocked. I looked at the system interface with only one thought in mind. This is just the beginning. What you owed me in my past life, what you owed this ocean, what you owed all of humanity. I will take back every bit of it piece by piece. The news of the Abyss Hunter encircling fleet's total annihilation reached Dr. Rosen's ears. He stared at the images sent back by the satellite ship. All 5 destroyers had sunk in the Pacific Ocean. Trembling with rage, he swept all the instruments and waste off the table. A bunch of useless trash. Can't even catch a single shark. The researcher nearby didn't dare to breathe loudly. Carefully asked Dr. Rosen, "What should we do now?" Dr. Rosen took a deep breath. The fanaticism in his eyes deepened. They've scared the snake and alarmed the grass. That shark will definitely leave this sea area. I'm watching the global satellite images, frame by frame. Not a single pixel's anomaly can be missed. As soon as he shows his head, Tell me immediately, I must catch him. But he didn't know. I had already left the Western Pacific long ago, using Master of Disguise and Deep Sea Dash. I made my way from the Western Pacific all the way to the Arctic Ocean. In just 3 days, I devoured countless deep-sea predators. My body length had grown to 21 meters. My weight exceeded 110 tons, becoming the undisputed top predator of this ocean. That day I was cruising under the ice of the Arctic Ocean. Suddenly, the system's notification tone rang ding. Detected creature killer whale pod. 12 in total, leading male killer whale. Body length 9 meters. Level 8. Devouring 1 can obtain evolution points. 5 points. The system's tone hadn't faded. When the killer whale pod suddenly attacked me, the leading killer whale rammed into me violently. The enormous force pushed me back dozens of meters. I recovered from the impact and immediately recognized him, Haibei. In my past life, he was the only killer whale willing to fight alongside me. In the last battle of the East China Sea defense line, he led his pod charging into the beast nest to cover me. He fought to the death with a mutated mosasaurus over 50 meters long, and they perished together, dying before my eyes. I looked at him and did not counterattack. I could clearly sense wounds on his body. There were also several young killer whales in the pod. They weren't treating me as prey. They saw me as a danger. They were protecting their young. Just then, the system's red alert sounded again. Warning detected mutated creature. Mutated killer whale, length 12 meters. Level 10, severe nuclear radiation mutation. Rapidly approaching the killer whale pod. In the dark seawater, a killer whale covered in mutated tumors burst out, its teeth turned outward, its eyes filled with nothing but bloodthirsty madness. In one bite, it sank its teeth into the tail fin of a young killer whale. Blood instantly stained the seawater red. The young killer whale let out a painful cry. Haibei immediately went berserk, turned around and charged at the mutated killer whale. But he was no match for the mutant. In just one exchange he was knocked aside. The killer whale slammed hard into the ice. The ice shattered instantly. Haibei let out a pained groan. In my past life, Haibei's pod was massacred by these mutated killer whales. Only he survived, and that's why he fought alongside me. In this life, I will never let this tragedy repeat. I flicked my tail, violently triggering burst acceleration instantly. My 21-meter body shot forward like a cannonball. At the moment, the mutated killer whale was about to crush Haibei's skull. I bit into its torso. My sharp teeth instantly pierced through its mutated skin and sank deep into its bones. The mutated killer whale let out a mad roar, turned and smashed its head hard into my abdomen, but I did not let go. No matter how hard it thrashed, I held its body in a death grip until I bit its torso completely in two. Host successfully devoured severely mutated creature. Evolution points plus 20. Congratulations, host triggered. Skill extraction. Obtain species skill Sonic Stun Basic. Level 1. Host level increased to level 11. Body length increased to 22 meters. I shook the blood and grime off my head, turned and looked at Haibei. He led his pod slowly gathering around me, not attacking, just gently bumping me with their snouts, emitting a series of gentle clicks. He was apologizing to me. He recognized that I had saved him, saved his pod. From that day on, Haibei led his killer whale pod and followed behind me. I had my very first team. In this ocean that was about to become hell, I was no longer fighting alone. 3 days later, we were cruising the Arctic Ocean. Suddenly heard the screams of children from the surface. I surfaced with Haibei and saw a small wooden boat capsized by a group of killer whales. Several indigenous Arctic children had fallen into the water. One killer whale had bitten the ankle of one boy, dragging him toward the deep sea. That boy's name was a Chang, the son of the Arctic indigenous tribe's leader. In the past life after the beast tide erupted, the Arctic became humanity's last sanctuary. A Chang's tribe took in hundreds of thousands of refugees, eventually surrounded by mutated beasts, fighting to the last man. Not a single one surrendered. I watched the boy gradually lose consciousness in the water. The memories of my past life surged again. I slammed my tail and charged forward, biting the attacking killer whale in one crunch, tearing it to pieces instantly. Haibei led his pod charging up, surrounding the remaining few attacking killer whales, and in a flash cleaned them all out. I swam beneath a Chang, lifted him out of the water with my back, and carried him to the overturned wooden boat. The other children hastily pulled a Chang onto the boat, staring at my massive body. Their eyes held no fear, only shock and gratitude. I transformed into human form and climbed onto the small wooden boat. The children were startled, but when they saw me giving a Chang first aid, they quieted down. Soon, a Chang coughed out several mouthfuls of seawater and woke up. Just then, a fishing boat slowly approached. The captain was a Chang's uncle Jiang Wei, a genuine Chinese fisherman who fished regularly in the Arctic Ocean, he saw the capsized wooden boat and rushed over like crazy, picking us up onto his boat. Learning that I had saved a Chang, Zhang Wei was so excited he couldn't speak coherently, insisting I visit their tribe as a guest. I didn't refuse. I knew this tribe would become one of humanity's strongest fortresses in the future tomb chambers. Half a day later, we arrived at the tribe. The chief Aresput, that is a Chang's father. Learning that I had saved his son, he walked straight up to me, bowed deeply and said, "Thank you, warrior of the Blue Sea. You are the benefactor of the Put family. Please tell me how I can repay you." I quickly helped him up and said it was just a small favor. "Don't think too much about it. Just find me a place to sleep tonight." Aresput burst out laughing, clapped my shoulder and said, "My home is your home. Stay as long as you like." That night, Aresput held a grand welcome party for me. All the tribe members gathered around, giving me their most precious gifts and thanking me endlessly. After several rounds of drinks, I saw an elder of the tribe sitting by the bonfire, telling stories to the children. The story said that long ago, beneath the ocean, lay a sunken ancient city called Atlantis. Buried within was the heart of the sea god, possessing the power to control the ocean, able to dispel all darkness and evil. Only a truly benevolent guardian of the ocean could find this ancient city and awaken the sea god's power. My heart jolted. In my past life, I had heard the legend of Atlantis countless times, but never found any trace of it. Yet the elder spoke so vividly, even describing the city's location and the underwater passage in great detail. More importantly, what he called the heart of the sea god could very well be the key to countering the beast tide 2 months from now. In my past life, we gave it our all, only barely holding off the beast tide's assault, without any ability to fight back. If the heart of the sea god truly existed, then this time we wouldn't just defend the line, we could completely destroy these mutants and prevent the apocalypse from descending. Back in my room, the elder's words kept replaying in my mind. I couldn't sit still anymore. I had to go see for myself. I had to find Atlantis, find the heart of the sea god. The next morning, I said goodbye to the tribe, came to a remote sea area, reverted to my Megalodon form instantly, led Haibai and the killer whale pod, and dived rapidly toward the sea area the elder had described. We searched the seabed for 6 full hours, but found nothing. Just as I was feeling discouraged and about to give up, Haibai suddenly let out a rapid series of clicks. His snout pointed at a rock formation on the seabed. I swam over and discovered an unfathomable deep underwater passage in the rock wall. The stone walls of the passage were carved with countless ancient patterns, exactly the same as the elder's story described. At the end of this passage, very likely lay the legendary Atlantis. Without the slightest hesitation, I led Haibai and plunged into the passage. The passage was pitch black. The water pressure grew heavier and heavier. Even I felt a slight strain. After a full hour, the scene before me suddenly opened up. A massive underwater city appeared before my eyes. The entire city was built entirely of gold. Huge palaces, towering statues, complete streets, emitting a faint golden glow in the deep sea. Even after sleeping for millions of years, one could still see its former splendor. Atlantis really existed. I slowly swam into the ancient city with Haibai. Just as I was marveling at the city's grandeur, a deafening roar came from the deepest part of the ancient city. The entire seawater trembled violently. Ding detected top-tier mutated creature. Leviathan of Death. Body length 50 meters. Level 20. Nuclear radiation ultimate mutation. Devouring may obtain. Evolution points 100. 20% chance of obtaining species skill. High strength defense. Before the sound faded, a behemoth burst out from the darkness. Its body was as massive as a mountain range, covered in steel-like scales, its mouth filled with spear-like fangs. A pair of blood-red eyes stared fixedly at me, emitting bloodthirsty ferocity. Leviathan of Death. One of the top predators in the beast nest of my past life. It was he who led the beast nest and tore open the first gate of the East China Sea defense line. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers died at his hands. I fought him for 3 days and 3 nights, barely managing to drive him back, and nearly died myself. He opened his maw and charged at me. A stench of decay rushed into my face. The water flow stirred by his massive body pinned me heavily in place. I triggered burst acceleration in an instant, barely dodging his deadly bite, then swam around behind him and bit off a chunk of his tail fin. The excruciating pain of flesh tearing made the Leviathan let out a mad roar. He spun around violently. His massive tail slammed hard into my body. I felt like I'd been hit by a cannonball, smashing heavily into the wall of the Golden Palace. The wall shattered instantly. I spat out a mouthful of blood. Haibai saw I was hurt He charged forward with his pod, attacking the Leviathan madly. But their attacks bounced off the Leviathan's scales, leaving not even a scratch. The Leviathan just flicked his tail and sent Haibei flying far away. The killer whale pod suffered heavy casualties instantly. Just as I was about to charge again, another deafening roar rang out. Another even larger Leviathan of death emerged from the depths of the ancient city, its body length a full 60 meters. Its level even higher, level 22. The injured female Leviathan rubbed gently against the male Leviathan's body, letting out a pitiful whine. My heart sank. Great, I fight one and get a pair. This is bullying a single shark. The two Leviathans of death charged at me simultaneously. Their attacks coordinated perfectly. I had no room to dodge. In just one clash, the male Leviathan slammed me hard into the seabed. The immense force made the entire ocean floor tremble. Piercing pain shot through every part of my body. Several of my bones were broken. At the brink of death, scenes from my past life flooded my mind like a tidal wave. The desperate cries of civilians when the East China Sea defense line shattered. The final salute of comrades as they pressed the self-destruct button. The last look Haibei gave me when he died together with the beast. General Zhao Yingquan's straight spine. As he and the beast tied were buried together in the nuclear explosion, and all those I failed to protect. The memories of those who fought alongside me, the faces of the fallen, the vows unfulfilled, the pain that never faded, all came rushing back. Those who died miserably in the apocalypse, those who could no longer see the light in the darkness. In my past life, I gave it my all, but still couldn't protect them. In this life, I have been reborn. How could I fall here? An unprecedented power exploded from within my body. I watched the two Leviathans charging toward me. With a thought, Master of Disguise activated instantly. My body twisted and deformed rapidly in the seawater. In the blink of an eye, I transformed into the exact same shape as the female Leviathan. The two charging Leviathans froze in place instantly. They couldn't tell at all which one was the real kindred. Seizing this opportunity, I quickly swam to the side of the female Leviathan. In the moment before she could react, I opened my serrated maw and bit hard into her gill slit. This was her most fatal weak point. I used all my strength. My teeth pierced through her artery in an instant. Blood instantly died. The entire ancient city of Atlantis read. The female Leviathan let out a despairing cry. Her body convulsed violently a few times, then finally went completely still. Beep, host successfully devoured the female death Leviathan, gained 100 evolution points. Beep. Host level increased to 15, body length increased to 26 meters. The male Leviathan watched his mate die before him and completely lost his mind. He let out a deafening roar. The seawater in the entire ancient city churned along with it. He charged madly toward me. Golden structures shattered wherever he passed. Nothing could block his path. I didn't engage him head on. I turned around and swam at full speed toward the Poseidon statue in the center of the ancient city. That statue stood over 100 meters tall. It was carved in the image of Poseidon holding a trident. The entire statue was made entirely from a single block of obsidian, extremely hard. The male Leviathan chased after me wildly. His bloodshot eyes were filled only with killing intent. He didn't notice the statue ahead. Just as he was about to crash into me, I abruptly sidestepped and triggered short-range acceleration, dodging his charge instantly. But the already crazed male Leviathan couldn't stop his momentum. His entire body slammed violently into the Poseidon statue. With a thunderous roar, the 100-meter-tall obsidian statue collapsed with a crash. Countless huge stone blocks rained down like hail, instantly burying the male Leviathan beneath them. He let out a few unwilling roars, struggled a couple of times, then finally went completely still. Beep. Host successfully killed the male death Leviathan. Gained 150 evolution points. Beep. Congratulations, host triggered. Skill extraction obtained. Species skill. High strength defense. Ultimate ability reduces 50% of physical damage and energy damage received. Beep. Host level increased to 18. Body length increased to 30 meters. Weight 180 tons. Ultimate gene segment of the prehistoric Megalodon fully unlocked. I looked at the system panel and let out a long sigh of relief. My whole body ached from the severe wounds, but my heart was incredibly exhilarated. The death Leviathan that had killed countless of my comrades in my past life, in this life, was slain by me in the ancient city of Atlantis. Species prehistoric Megalodon, level 18, body length 30 meters, weight 180 tons. Skills devour level 2, short range acceleration intermediate. Master of disguise level 3, deep sea navigation intermediate, radiation immunity intermediate. Sonic pulse, intermediate high strength defense. Intermediate, time until alien creatures fully invade. Remaining 29 days. Staring at the last line of bright red text on the panel, my eyes instantly hardened. Only 29 days left. The alien tide is about to erupt. Time waits for no one. I must return immediately. To complete my first goal after rebirth, report to the nation. I, along with Xiaohong and Haibei, left the ancient city of Atlantis and sped at full speed toward the East China Sea waters of Huaxia. Deep sea navigation activated the entire way. We crossed half the globe in just 3 days and arrived at the East China Sea waters of Huaxia. By this time in Huaxia, my earlier actions had already caused an uproar. General Zhao Yingquan had reported the warning I sent, along with all the nuclear radiation mutation data, to the nation. The nation placed great importance on it, immediately activated the highest level of emergency response. Coastal defenses were fully upgraded. Nationwide disaster preparedness plans were fully launched. The entire nation was preparing for the disaster 2 months later. General Zhao Yingquan personally took command at the East China Sea research base, leading the top domestic team, monitoring all movements in the East China Sea 24/7. They had been looking for me. They knew I was the only one who could foresee the disaster and had the ability to fight mutated beasts. I, along with Xiaohong and Haibei, appeared in front of the East China Sea research vessel, a huge shadow cast across the sea surface. Everyone on the research vessel instantly tensed up. General Zhao Yingquan walked to the bow, gazing at me as I slowly approached, his eyes filled with shock. All the researchers and soldiers on board saluted me in unison. That day, the nation's highest command was issued. Launch Project Poseidon. Mobilize the entire country's resources to provide me with everything I needed. The entire 1.4 billion people of the nation were mobilized overnight. The nation's fishery resources, deep-sea aquaculture bases, and high-protein bait processing plants all ran at full capacity. Countless fishing vessels and research ships carried the highest quality bait, heading to the East China Sea for scheduled feeding. Netizens across the nation followed my latest updates online every day, cheering me on. The hashtag national feeding, hashtag Megalodon God, trended at #1 on the hot search list for a whole week. God Shark eat more. Grow big and strong. In 2 months, destroy those alien beasts. My family runs a fishery. All the fish go to God Shark. As much as you want. In your past life, you died fighting for us. In this life, all 1.4 billion Chinese people will raise you. Every day, tens of thousands of tons of high-quality bait were fed into my mouth. My evolution speed skyrocketed like a rocket. Beep. Host successfully devoured top-grade high-protein bait. Gained 10 evolution points. Beep. Host level increased to 19, body length increased to 32 meters. Beep. Host successfully devoured deep-sea krill swarm, gained 20 evolution points. Devour skill upgraded to level 3, devour. Evolution points gained multiplied by 3. Beep. Host level increased to 20, body length increased to 35 meters. Unlocked ultimate skill Poseidon's Roar. Poseidon's Roar releases the ultimate sonic wave of the prehistoric Megalodon, can stun all marine life lower than the host level, deals massive mental damage to mutated alien beasts, deals no harm to non-mutated creatures. This skill was practically tailor-made for the coming alien beast tide. In my past life, the biggest headache for us was the endless hordes of low-level mutated alien beasts. But now, with one Poseidon's Roar, the field could be cleared instantly. Even more importantly, I discovered that my Devour system not only allowed me to evolve, but could also convert excess evolution points into anti-radiation gene serum. This serum could increase human immunity to nuclear radiation by hundreds of times. No longer would gene-level mutations occur due to radiation, completely stopping human mutation at its root. I handed over all the gene serum I produced to General Zhao Yingquan. The nation immediately launched a universal vaccination program. In just half a month, all 1.4 billion people in the nation were vaccinated. The tragedy of 99% of humanity perishing in my past life was completely nipped at the root. But just as we were fully preparing for battle, an unexpected event still occurred. Dr. Rosenberg and the Abyss Hunters organization had not given up. When they learned that I had reported to the nation and received full support from Huaxia, they went completely mad. They gathered all the illegal armed forces in the world, dozens of top-tier warships, and an ultimate mutant they had secretly cultivated for decades, a mutated mosasaurus over 80 meters long, heading toward the East China Sea waters of Huaxia. In full force, they wanted to destroy the gene serum, destroy humanity's last hope. They wanted to turn the entire world into their laboratory. The East China Sea defense line sounded red alert across the board. General Zhao Yingquan stood in the command room, looking at the satellite feed, his eyes unwavering. He picked up the communicator and ordered the entire defensive line. All units prepare for combat at level 1. Defend the East China Sea line at all costs. Let no enemy advance a single step. Meanwhile, I with Xiaohong and Haibei, and the pod of orcas that had grown to over 100, slowly swam to the very front of the East China Sea line. My 35-meter-long body stretched across the sea like a mountain range. Behind me were 1.4 billion compatriots, the homeland I would protect with my life. In my past life, I died here. In this life, I will make sure every enemy who comes here never returns. Dr. Rosenberg's fleet arrived outside the East China Sea. He stood in the flagship's command room, staring at me on the screen, laughing hysterically. Megalodon, I'll give you one last chance to surrender. Come with me or else. I'll turn the entire East China Sea into a sea of blood. I ignored his bluster and slowly opened my serrated maw, unleashing a deafening Poseidon's roar. An invisible sonic wave swept across. All the experimental mutant creatures in the opposing fleet let out agonized screams and dropped dead in an instant. The sea instantly turned red with blood. Dr. Rosenberg's face went pale. He hadn't expected that I possessed such terrifying power. He screamed hysterically, "Fire! Fire everything! Kill him and release the ultimate Mosasaurus. I want him torn to pieces." Countless shells and torpedoes rained toward me. Behind me, the East China Sea defense line activated all its anti-air and anti-missile systems. Interceptor missiles rose into the sky like rain, intercepting all the shells and torpedoes mid-air. Beneath the sea surface, a deafening roar echoed. The 80-meter-long ultimate mutated Mosasaurus burst out from the deep sea. Its body was covered in thick alloy armor. Its teeth were as sharp as missiles. Its blood-red eyes locked onto me, and it charged at me like a mad beast. This was Dr. Rosenberg's ultimate weapon. In my past life, it was the one that crushed my body in one bite. But now I faced the charging mutated Mosasaurus and triggered short-range acceleration instantly, smashing into it with full force. Boom! The two colossal creatures collided violently. The entire sea surface was stirred into towering waves. The Mosasaurus's strength far exceeded my expectations. It sank its teeth deep into my shoulder. Its sharp teeth pierced my skin. Blood gushed into the seawater, but I wasn't afraid at all. High-strength defense activated instantly. Its teeth couldn't even reach my bones. I spun around fiercely and bit into its neck. My devour skill activated at full power, frantically absorbing its strength. The Mosasaurus let out a pained roar. Its massive tail lashed against me, throwing me off. It went completely berserk and charged at me again. The seawater boiled from its power wherever it passed. I faced the charging Mosasaurus. Without a trace of fear, in my past life I couldn't beat it. But in this life I had 1.4 billion compatriots backing me. I had the experience gained from countless rebirths. I had something I had to protect. With a thought, Master of Disguise activated instantly. I transformed into an identical mutated Mosasaurus and charged straight at it. It froze on the spot, completely unable to tell which was the real itself. In that moment of hesitation, I abruptly reverted to my Megalodon form. Short-range acceleration and Poseidon's roar activated simultaneously. The sonic wave slammed into its mind, stunning it in place. I opened my serrated maw and bit into its head. Using all my strength, I bit down hard. Crunch! Its hard skull shattered under my bite. Stinking brains mixed with blood exploded in the seawater. This beast that had plunged the entire East China Sea defense line into despair in my past life, this ultimate mutated Mosasaurus, didn't even get a final struggle before me. Its massive body crashed heavily onto the seabed, lifeless. Beat! Host successfully devoured the ultimate mutated Mosasaurus. Gained 1,000 evolution points. Beep, detected host has unlocked ultimate form. System functions fully upgraded. Ocean Legion module unlocked. Can command all non-mutated marine creatures for coordinated combat. Gene purification function unlocked. Can remove nuclear radiation mutation factors in living organisms. System alerts exploded in my mind one after another. The thrill of surging power rushed through my body like a tsunami. I shook the blood off my head. My 50-meter-long body gave a slight flip in the seawater, raising waves several meters high across the entire surface. In my past life, I was torn apart by this Mosasaurus at the East China Sea defense line, not even leaving a complete corpse. In this life, right in front of 1.4 billion compatriots, I bit it into pieces. Dr. Rosenberg in the flagship's command room watched on the screen as I crushed the Mosasaurus's skull in one bite. He seemed to have his soul sucked out, collapsing into his chair, his eyes wide in shock, muttering, "Impossible. This is absolutely impossible." He couldn't understand no matter how hard he tried. His decades of effort, nurtured with countless nuclear radiation experimental subjects, the ultimate Mosasaurus fused with genes from dozens of top predators, couldn't last even 10 exchanges with me, ending up with no body left. But he didn't have time to break down. Haibei had already slammed into the flagship's hull with the orca war pod. Every orca was like an elite soldier, precisely attacking the ship's engine rooms and propellers. Even Xiaohong shed her usual gentleness, having awakened the Death Leviathan bloodline. She had grown to 20 meters long. Her thick tentacles lashed against the steel hull plates, ripping through the thick armor like paper. Seawater flooded into the cabins. Abandoned ship now. Dr. Rosenberg screamed hysterically, escorted by his bodyguards. He stumbled toward the lifeboat. He knew very well the fleet was gone. The Mosasaurus was gone. He had nothing left. The only thing he could do now was run as far as possible. But he forgot this ocean was my domain. Just as his lifeboat launched and before it could get 100 meters away, my massive figure had already appeared beneath the lifeboat. I gave a gentle flick of my tail. The lifeboat was tossed into the air by the wave I created, then crashed back onto the surface. Dr. Rosenberg and his bodyguards were thrown out of the lifeboat like drowned rats, splashing into the icy seawater. When he looked up and saw my sky-obscuring body blocking the sunlight, with my cold, emotionless eyes fixed on him, this madman who had spent his life performing cruel experiments on marine creatures, finally understood what absolute terror meant. He flailed his limbs like a madman, trying to swim away, shouting, "Don't kill me! I was wrong. I'll give you all my research data. I can help you fight the alien tide." I watched his pathetic display without any emotion in my heart. In my past life, it was his research that turned countless marine creatures into bloodthirsty beasts. That caused 99% of humanity to die in the apocalypse. In my past life, he was the one who leaked the East China Sea defense layout, allowing the alien tide to tear through our defenses precisely. Countless comrades died with their eyes open. This blood debt could never be erased by a simple "I was wrong." I opened my serrated maw and unleashed a max-level sonic pulse at him. The invisible sonic wave hit his mind like a hammer. He let out a piercing scream. Blood oozed from his 7 orifices. He went rigid in the seawater, unable to move. Then Haibei gave a gentle flick of his tail. A current swept him toward the research vessel. General Zhao Yingquan was already there with soldiers. Several special forces jumped into the sea and hauled the unconscious Dr. Rosenberg aboard, putting him in handcuffs. This man who had stirred up global turmoil and single-handedly propelled the apocalypse was finally captured. He would face the judgment of all humanity. The punishment he deserved? Beep. Host successfully captured the mastermind Dr. Rosenberg, completely destroyed the Abyss Hunters' global illegal armed forces, gained 500.1 evolution points. Congratulations, host, completed the Ocean Cleaner Ultimate Achievement, gained max reputation with all non-mutated marine creatures. Ocean Legion module fully maxed. Across the entire East China Sea, thunderous cheers erupted. On the research vessel, General Zhao Yingquan, along with all the soldiers and researchers, once again gave me the most standard salute. "Sea God, we won the first battle. God Shark is awesome. National feeding forever. Whatever you want to eat, we'll arrange it." The live stream had over 1 billion viewers online. Netizens from around the world watched this historic battle. Comments flooded the screen. "Holy crap! Is this the power of a prehistoric Megalodon? Took down an 80-meter Mosasaurus in one bite. So cool, Godshark not only saved us, but also caught the mastermind. I never believed in the sea god before, but now I do. This is the god of the ocean." I looked at the cheering crowds on the coastline. At those lively, hopeful faces, a warmth filled my heart. In my past life, this place was a battlefield strewn with corpses, a hell of despair, but in this life, it was full of laughter and joy, full of the warmth of human life. This was the meaning of my rebirth. But just as everyone was reveling in the joy of victory, the system's red alert suddenly blared in my mind. The piercing alarm made all my scales tighten instantly. Beep, highest level warning. Detected abnormal surge in nuclear radiation levels across global oceans. Exceeded critical threshold by 1,000 times. Beep, highest level warning. Detected large-scale mutation and hatching of alien beasts in deep sea areas worldwide. Numbers exceed 1 million. Levels generally above 10. Beep, highest level warning. The alien tide, full-scale outbreak has advanced. Remaining time 24 hours. Detected unknown top-level psychic energy fluctuation. Source deepest part of the Mariana Trench. Level far beyond current knowledge. Threat level catastrophic. My heart sank. Something was wrong. Even with the nuclear wastewater dumping going on for so long, it was impossible for global radiation levels to spike this much in just a few hours. And for millions of alien beasts to hatch simultaneously, Dr. Rosenberg was already captured. The Abyss Hunters' forces were uprooted. Who was behind this? My heart suddenly sank. Something was wrong. Even after discharging the boiling water for so long, it couldn't have in just a few hours. Caused global radiation levels to spike to this degree. Even less likely that millions of first hands would hatch simultaneously. Dr. Rosen has been captured. The Deep Hunter organization was also uprooted. Who is behind all this? I immediately used Morse code to transmit all the system's warnings to General Zhao Yingquan. The smile on his face vanished instantly. His expression became extremely grave. He immediately picked up the communicator and issued the highest level Red Combat Readiness Order to the National Defense Line. All units beware of moisture. Advance full-scale arrival by 24 hours globally. Coastal defense lines immediately enter highest combat readiness. Repeat, immediately enter highest combat readiness. The entire nation sprang into action instantly. All gates of the coastal defense lines were lowered. All aerial anti-missile systems were activated. Inland shelters were fully opened. The entire population entered combat readiness. In the previous life, we were flustered and completely unprepared for the moisture. But in this life, we are fully prepared. We are standing ready. Yet in my heart, I knew this matter was definitely not that simple. That location near the Mariana Trench and the psychic energy fluctuations gave me a feeling that was 100 times more terrifying than 2 leviathans combined. It even made my body of the sea god, which had already unlocked its ultimate form, feel a bone-chilling dread. There must be a huge conspiracy behind this, a twist we hadn't noticed. That night, I handed over command of the East Sea Defense Line, the Haibi and Xiaohong. Let them lead the Orca Pod and the Ocean Coalition to guard the East Sea Estuary. Once any mutant beast emerges, kill them all without mercy. Meanwhile, I triggered the max-level deep-sea dive and swam rapidly toward the Mariana Trench. I had to go and see what the hell was hiding behind all this. After the full-scale outbreak of the mutant beast nests in the previous life, the Mariana Trench became the lair of all top-tier mutant beasts. We tried countless times to attack it, but paid a heavy price each time. Without even knowing what lay inside that snow lotus, this life I want to uncover, this mystery ahead of time, and nip the looming crisis in the bud. With the max-level deep-sea dive active, my speed reached its peak. I even left a white trail across the sea surface, crossing the Pacific Ocean. In less than half a day, I arrived above the Mariana Trench. This place is known as the deepest point on Earth. The deepest part exceeds 11,000 kilometers. The water pressure is enough to crush a tank into a tin can. Sunlight never reaches here. It is a realm of eternal darkness and death. But now in this dead trench, there emanated a nauseating aura of nuclear radiation, along with the roars of countless mutant beasts coming from the deepest part of the trench. The entire sea was trembling slightly. I slowly descended, the max-level Master of Disguise activated. I transformed my body into a piece of seabed rock, concealing all my aura. I crept deeper into the trench bit by bit. The deeper I dove, the more shocked I became. On the walls of the trench were densely packed mutant beast eggs. Each one was the size of a bucket. Inside, fully formed mutant beasts curled up, squirming slightly with the water currents, ready to hatch at any moment. The number of these eggs far exceeded the million-level detection by the system, possibly even exceeded 10 million, and around these mutant beast eggs were thick metal pipes. The ends of the pipes connected to hidden laboratories embedded in the rock walls. The pipes were continuously discharging thick pitch black nuclear wastewater into the trench, along with a strange purple glowing liquid. It was this liquid that amplified the nuclear radiation's power by 1,000 times, accelerating the incubation of these moisture eggs. My heart surged with shock. So the Cherry Blossom Country's nuclear wastewater discharge was never just about processing nuclear waste. It was a facade. The real nuclear wastewater was all secretly dumped into the Mariana Trench to incubate these mutant beasts. And Dr. Rosen was never the real mastermind. He was just a pawn pushed to the front. The true mastermind was someone else. Just then, a familiar conversation came from the nearest laboratory. I crept close to the rock wall and through the lab's observation window. I saw the people inside. At the front was Dr. Rosen, who should have been captured. At the East Sea Defense Line, this Dr. Rosen had subtle differences from the one I had caught. His eyes lacked the previous madness, only a cold and human indifference. And his body was undergoing a bizarre transformation. Veins beneath his skin writhed like tentacles. Standing beside him were all the top executives of the Abyss Hunters. Those we thought had sunk with the fleet or been captured were all here, like walking corpses, their eyes hollow. Their bodies all showed varying degrees of disease. The original bodies were captured. "It doesn't matter, our plan has succeeded," said Dr. Rosen. His voice was hoarse and eerie, completely unlike any human sound. "The energy of the Sea God Core has been contaminated by radiation. Atlantis' sealing power has vanished. In 24 hours, tens of millions of eggs will hatch simultaneously. The entire planet will be ours for the taking." "Sir, what about that giant Megalodon?" asked one executive cautiously. "The Megalodon." Dr. Rosen let out a strange laugh. "He's nothing but a lucky reincarnated ant. In the previous life, he didn't even get to see us before dying in a dragon's jaws. Even if he unlocked his ultimate form in this life, before the mighty sea god, he's just a top-tier sea monster that can be devoured in one bite." My heart jolted. Who is the sea god he's talking about? Just then, the large screen in the lab suddenly lit up. The image showed a huge black shadow, floating in the deepest part of the trench. That shadow was over 300 meters long, its body covered in dark golden scales, countless tentacles spreading out like mountain ranges, a pair of enormous golden vertical pupils, staring fixedly at the direction of the camera. But what made my scalp tingle the most was that the outline of this shadow was exactly the same as the statue of Poseidon in the ancient city of Atlantis. Identical. Congratulations, Lord Sea God, on breaking the seal. From within the mortal world, everyone in the lab, including Dr. Rosen, knelt before the black shadow on the screen, their expressions fanatical. My blood ran cold. A reversal. A huge reversal. We had always thought the moisture and the nuclear discharge were accidents, but never imagined this whole thing was a conspiracy millennia in the making. The legend of Atlantis was real. Tens of millions of years ago, there really was a sea god who ruled the entire ocean, but he was no guardian. He was a tyrant who wanted to dominate the entire planet. In ancient times, humanity paid a terrible price, using the power of the sea god core. They sealed him in the deepest part of the Mariana Trench. At the same time, they built the ancient city of Atlantis to suppress his seal, and nuclear radiation was the only thing that could contaminate the sea god core and break the seal. For millions of years, he waited for an opportunity until humans began discharging nuclear wastewater. He finally got his chance. He used his psychic power to manipulate Dr. Rosen and the Abyss Hunters, making them madly discharge nuclear wastewater, accelerating the seal's collapse, while hatching mutant beasts to serve him, creating an army of beasts for the world. In the previous life, we died without ever knowing that behind the beast nests lurked such a terrifying apocalyptic existence. We fought with all our might against mere minions he casually released. That's why humanity was wiped out 99% in just 1 month. Because what we faced was not an accidental disaster, but a meticulously planned extinction. While I was still reeling from shock, the huge black shadow on the screen suddenly moved. Its golden vertical pupils instantly turned toward my direction. A freezing voice pierced through the lab walls and drilled into my mind. A reincarnated little shark. How dare you sneak to my doorstep? Since you're here, don't think of leaving. Boom, a terrifying psychic force like a tsunami slammed into me. The effect of Master of Disguise was instantly torn apart. I was smashed against the rock wall by that force. The rock wall shattered. Blood spurted from my mouth. The people in the lab reacted instantly and turned around. Dr. Rosen looked up sharply, saw the object outside the rock wall, and let out a piercing shriek. It's that Megalodon! Catch him, kill him! Instantly, countless alarms blared in the trench. Mutant beasts hidden in the crevices of the rock walls surged toward me like a tide. At the front were 5 leviathans over 50 meters long, and more than a dozen mutated Cthulhus over 40 meters long. Each was above level 25. Ding, warning, host is surrounded by a 1,000,000-level beast horde. Enemy highest combat power is above level 30. Please evacuate immediately. Ding. Warning, host has been attacked by an unknown top-tier psychic force. Body of the sea god damaged. Self-healing ability reduced by 50%. I knew very well that staying to fight meant certain death. This sealed sea god, even if not yet free, possessed power far beyond my imagination. Plus this 1,000,000-level beast horde, I had no chance of winning. As long as the Green Hills remain, there'll be no shortage of firewood. I had to leave immediately, return to the East Sea, and find a way to deal with this apocalyptic crisis. I triggered max-level burst acceleration. My 50-meter-long body shot out like a cannonball, straight toward an oncoming leviathan. I opened my massive jaws and bit down hard. Crack! Its head was crushed between my teeth. Hot blood splashed all over me. Ding Host has successfully devoured a leviathan, gained 100 evolution points. Using that momentum, I shot toward the surface. Sea God's Roar! Fully activated. A deafening sonic wave swept out. The lower-level mutant beasts that surrounded me instantly had their brains burst and sank to the ocean floor. But the number of beasts was overwhelming. They kept surging in like a relentless tide, clinging to me tightly, refusing to let me go. A giant Cthulhu bit down hard on my tailfin. Its sharp teeth pierced my skin. Pain lanced through my body. I spun around and bit into its body, activating my devour ability at full power, instantly draining it into an empty shell. Ding Host has successfully devoured a giant Cthulhu, gaining 80 evolution points. Devour ability triggered critical hit. Evolution points doubled. Self-healing restored. Body of the Sea God's passive ability triggered. The wounds on my body healed rapidly, visible to the naked eye. I glared at the surrounding beast horde, a ruthless glint in my eyes. Trying to stop me. Let's see if your teeth are hard enough. I charged straight ahead, recklessly toward the surface. Every beast that stood in my way, whether Leviathan or Cthulhu, I tore them all to shreds one bite at a time. Max level skills erupted at full force. The entire Mariana Trench became my hunting ground. Dinghost has successfully devoured a mutated giant squid, gained 20 evolution points. Dinghost has successfully devoured a mutated sea serpent pack, gained 100 evolution points. Dinghost level increased to 31. Body length increased to 52 meters. Dinghost level increased to 32. Body length increased to 55 meters. Slaughtering my way through, I carved a bloody path out of the million beast horde when I finally burst out of the sea and saw the sunlight. My body was covered in the blood of mutant beasts. Like a war god emerging from hell, I didn't stop for a moment. Deep sea dive. Fully activated, I sped madly toward the East Sea of China. I had to return as quickly as possible to tell General Zhao Yingquan about this shocking conspiracy. I had to find a way to counter it. Otherwise, the tragedy of the previous life would not only repeat, but become even more horrifying. A day later, I finally returned to the East Sea waters. The moment I appeared at the East Sea defense line, everyone was stunned. My 55-meter-long body was covered in battle scars. Though healed, the traces of that brutal fight were still visible. Haibi and Xiaohong saw me return and immediately led the orca pod to surround me, rubbing against my body affectionately, making worried calls. I immediately found Commander Zhao Yingquan's command post, and using Morse code, I told him everything I had discovered in the Mariana Trench about the sealed ancient sea god, and this apocalyptic conspiracy millennia in the making. Word by word, Commander Zhao's face turned pale. His teacup crashed heavily onto the table. His whole body trembled slightly. He had studied the ocean his whole life and never imagined that behind all this lay such a terrifying truth. All the preparations we had made were insignificant in the face of that 300-meter-long ancient sea god. General, what should we do now? The voice of Xiaoyu beside him trembled with fear. He was holding images sent back by deep-sea detectors, showing that massive beast tides had appeared in all seas around the world. Coastal defense lines had already started engaging. General Zhao took a deep breath. His eyes regained their determination. He looked at me and saluted me once more. Sea God, we in China have never bowed to any disaster. In the previous life we lost, but in this life we have you. Even if our opponent is a god, we dare to fight. His words ignited the fighting spirit in everyone like a flame. That's right, even if the opponent is an ancient sea god. So what? In the previous life, I was alone and still dared to fight the beast nests to the death. In this life, I have comrades fighting by my side and 1.4 billion compatriots backing me up. What do I have to fear? Just then, the system's prompt suddenly echoed in my mind. Ding detected that host has encountered a world-ending crisis. Triggered ultimate hidden mission, Sea God's Inheritance mission. Objective: travel to the ancient city of Atlantis to obtain the true Sea God core. Inherit the legacy of the ancient ocean guardian. Defeat the corrupted fallen sea god. Purify the ocean and protect the blue planet. Mission reward: unlock the ultimate form of the ocean god. All skills upgraded to divine level. Obtain permanent control over the ocean. Mission failure penalty: the blue planet completely falls. All life goes extinct. My heart jolted. So there was another half to the legend. The truth was that millions of years ago there was not only one fallen sea god, but also a true ocean guardian, the real master of Atlantis. He had died together with the fallen sea god, sealing his power in the sea god core, waiting for the true inheritor to appear, to stop the fallen sea god's revival. And I was that chosen inheritor. Without any hesitation, I accepted the mission. This was my only chance. The only chance for the entire planet. That same day I told General Zhao my plan. He immediately pledged the full strength of the nation to buy me time. After learning the truth of the apocalypse, countries around the world also vowed to cooperate fully, deploying all military forces to hold back the beast tides, to give me precious time to reach Atlantis. Suwan led the medical team and had made thorough preparations, ready to handle any potential casualties. Xiaoyu led the deep-sea exploration team and mapped out the optimal route to Atlantis for me, providing satellite navigation and deep-sea detection support throughout. Xiaohu led the fishing fleet and prepared ample food and supplies for me and the Ocean Coalition. In the previous life, those who sacrificed to protect humanity now stood by my side, fighting alongside me. I was no longer fighting alone. The next day at dawn, all global defense lines engaged. Millions of mutant beasts surged from all seas, launching a frenzied assault on coastal defenses. The roar of artillery, the screams, the battle cries echoed across the entire planet. Human armies held their ground, not retreating a single step. Haibai led the orca pod, Shohong led the Deep Sea Alliance that had awakened Leviathan bloodlines, racing between various seas, engaging in desperate battles with the beast tides. At the same time as the war began, I triggered Deep Sea Dive and sped again toward the ancient city of Atlantis. I had to get the Sea God core as fast as possible and inherit the legacy. Every second of delay meant more people dying in the jaws of beasts. This time I held nothing back. Max level burst acceleration remained active. My speed reached its absolute peak. I even created a vacuum zone in the sea. What normally took 3 days, I covered in less than 10 hours, and arrived again at the ancient city of Atlantis. But the sight before me made my eyes burn. The once magnificent golden city of Atlantis was now covered in black radiation contamination. The golden buildings were corroded and mottled. The city was filled with mutated beasts. The entire city was shrouded in the fallen sea god's psychic power, emanating a suffocating aura of despair. The sea god core was in the central palace of the city, but to reach it, I had to cross the entire city, fighting through layers of beasts. Without any hesitation, I opened my massive jaws and let out a deafening sea god's roar. The surrounding mutated beasts were shattered to pieces. I charged forward, crashing straight toward the central palace. Every beast in my way, regardless of level, was torn apart in a single bite. Devour ability at full power. With each beast I devoured, my strength grew, and my level increased by 1. Ding Host has successfully devoured a mutated Leviathan, gained 120 evolution points. Ding Host level increased to 35. Body length increased to 60 meters. Ding High Tier defense skill unlocked at divine level. Reduces all damage by 90%. Ding Host has successfully devoured a pack of mutated giant Cthulhus. Gained 500 evolution points. Low grade high strength defense skill God level unlocked. Reduces all damage by 90%. Low-level host successfully devours the mechanized Azure Dragon Swarm. Obtain 500 evolution points. Host level upgraded to level 38. Body length increased to 70 meters fighting all the way. I forcibly carved out a bloodline from the swarm of alien beasts. Finally rushed to the gate of the Sea God Palace. The ancient palace gate, millions of years old, stood tightly shut. Countless ancient patterns were carved on it, emitting a faint golden light. Resisting radiation pollution, I gently touched the palace gate with my steady fin. Instantly, all patterns on the gate lit up. A gentle golden light enveloped my whole body. In my mind, a voice ancient and gentle sounded. Finally, you are here! Here for millions of years. Someone has finally been willing to guard this ocean. Step forward. Before the words faded, the palace gate slowly opened. I swung my tail fin and swam into the palace. In the very center of the palace, a golden crystal the size of a fist floated, radiating a warm and majestic power, like the sun in the ocean. This is the real Sea God core. Just as I extended my steady fin, about to touch the Sea God core, a terrifying black energy suddenly crashed down from the palace ceiling, slamming heavily into my body. I felt as if I had been struck by a mountain, hurled violently onto the palace floor. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. A huge black shadow slowly emerged from the palace's darkness. It was that fallen sea god. He actually broke through the seal and arrived in Atlantis ahead of time. A tiny ant dares to covet the power of the sea god. He let out a deafening roar. His 300-meter-long body filled the entire palace. Countless tentacles lashed out fiercely at me. In your past life, you couldn't stop me. In this life, it will be the same. The tentacles struck me hard. Even my maxed out high defense was instantly torn apart. Wounds deep enough to see bone appeared on my body. Overwhelming pain engulfed me. His power was simply too strong. Even though he hadn't fully recovered his strength, it was still far beyond what I could contend with now. He coiled me up in one grab. Countless tentacles wrapped tightly around my body, slowly tightening. My bones gave out cracking sounds under the strain. A suffocating feeling instantly washed over me. You think your rebirth can change everything? How naive! His voice was full of contempt. Everything you've done is just dancing within my plan. You killed my wife and increased your power. In the end, you only delivered a perfect sacrifice to me. Once I devour this ultimate body of the prehistoric Megalodon and absorb the sea god core, the entire blue star will lie beneath my feet. Humans are nothing but livestock I raise for food. His words pierced my heart like ice daggers. Was all my effort in this life in vain? Had I ultimately failed to change the outcome? Were the people I wanted to protect still destined to die miserably in the bedroom? Just then, in my mind, the ancient and gentle voice sounded again. Hear the meaning of guardianship. Has never been fighting alone. Look behind you. Look at everything you are protecting. You are not fighting alone. I suddenly looked up through the palace dome and saw what was outside. The East China Sea defense line. General Zhao Yingquan and his soldiers, even though covered in wounds, still held the line desperately on the Pacific Ocean. Haibi led the killer whale pod, still charging at the alien beast hordes again and again. In the Arctic Ocean, Huaxia led the tribe in fishing boats, rescuing countless civilians who had fallen into the water, never retreating even face to face with alien beasts. Countless humans all over the world, countless marine creatures, were all fighting to the death to protect their homes, and the 1.4 billion people of the country were cheering me on in front of screens, praying for me. Go for it, Slayer God. We believe you can win. I looked at the fallen sea god before me. No trace of fear remained in my eyes, only unwavering determination. I erupted with all the power of the sea god's body, forcibly snapped his tentacles, opened my massive mouth, and let out a sea god's roar with everything I had. This roar carried my obsession from rebirth, carried my resolve to protect, carried the hope of all living things for survival. The invisible sound wave surged forth like a golden tide, sweeping everything. The fallen sea god let out a pained screech. The tentacles binding me were instantly shattered. He staggered backward repeatedly. Just then, the sea god core floating in the center of the palace suddenly burst into dazzling golden light. It sensed my will, felt my determination to protect, instantly turned into a golden light and drilled into my body. Boom, an indescribably vast power, like a tsunami, surged through my entire body. My body rapidly grew larger in the golden light, from 70 meters all the way up to 100 meters. Golden scales covered my whole body. Countless ancient patterns lit up on me. The power of the ancient ocean guardian and my prehistoric Megalodon bloodline perfectly fused together. Ding congratulations to the host for successfully inheriting the sea god core. Unlocked ultimate form of ocean god. All skills upgraded to god level. Unlocked ultimate miracle. Ocean purification. Can purify all global sea areas. All nuclear radiation and genetic mutation. Ding congratulations to the host for gaining control of the global ocean. Can mobilize all ocean power for your own use. I looked at my new body, feeling the surging power within, enough to control the entire ocean. Slowly raised my head, looked at the fallen sea god opposite. You're wrong. My voice traveled through the seawater, spreading throughout all of Atlantis. The ocean was never a tool for your rule. It is the cradle of life, a home we must protect with all our hearts. You want to devour me? Want to rule Blue Star? Then let's see if you have what it takes. I fiercely swung my tail fin. The seawater of the entire ancient city of Atlantis surged with my movement. Countless golden water blades slashed fiercely toward the fallen sea god. He let out a mad roar. Countless black tentacles rose up and collided with the water blades. An earth-shattering battle erupted in the ancient city of Atlantis. I controlled the power of the entire ocean. The seawater turned into my weapon. Wherever the golden light touched, all radiation pollution was instantly purified. All mutated beasts were instantly annihilated. The fallen sea god's power was formidable, but his power came from pollution and destruction, while my power came from protection, from the gift of the entire ocean, from the hope of all living beings. As one side waned and the other grew, he gradually fell into the disadvantage. Impossible, I am the sea god. I am the ruler of the ocean. How can you possibly defeat me? He roared hysterically, unleashing all his power. His entire body turned into a black torrent, charging straight at me, trying to take me down with him. I watched him charging, slowly opened my giant mouth, activated the ultimate miracle ocean evolution. Dazzling golden light burst from my mouth, illuminating the entire deep sea like the sun. Wherever the golden light spread, the black pollution was instantly purified. The fallen sea god let out a piercing scream. His body dissolved bit by bit in the golden light, disintegrated piece by piece. No, I won't accept this. I have waited millions of years. I won't give up. These were his last words. Left in this world. Then his entire body was completely purified by the golden light, disappeared into the seawater, without leaving a single trace. This conspiracy to destroy the world plotted for millions of years. This culprit who triggered the apocalypse was finally completely eliminated by me. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing the fallen sea god. Completed the ultimate hidden mission, the sea god's legacy. The ultimate miracle ocean purification has been triggered. Global sea purification program initiated. Detected global nuclear radiation levels rapidly decreasing. All alien beast eggs stopped hatching. Low-level mutants and mutated beasts were instantly purified. As the system notification sounded, I transformed into a beam of golden light, shot out of the ancient city of Atlantis. Arrived above the sea surface, I opened my giant mouth, facing the entire ocean of Blue Star. Activated ocean purification once more. Boundless golden light like a tide swept across every sea bay and boiling water on the planet. The seawater polluted for decades, under the golden light's radiance, became clear and transparent again. The nuclear radiation in the seawater was instantly purified completely, without a trace left. Those mutated beasts in the golden light had their mutated factors completely purified, turning back into normal marine creatures. Those unhatched aliens' beast eggs instantly stopped developing, turned into ordinary fish eggs returning to nature. The global alien beast nests stopped completely at this moment, when the golden light faded. Sunlight once again shone on the sea surface. The once murky, blood-filled ocean turned back to its azure blue, crystal clear, full of life. Everyone on the coastline was stunned. The ferocious alien beasts attacking suddenly vanished. The deafening gunfire stopped. The despair that had filled the air was replaced by fresh sea breeze. When they saw my 100-meter-long golden body slowly floating on the sea surface, like the true sea god, overlooking this ocean that had regained its vitality, everyone came to their senses. We won. We completely won. Instantly deafening cheers echoed in every corner of the world. Countless people on the coastline embraced and wept, waving and shouting in my direction. In the live stream, comments flooded the screen. Countless people shed tears of joy in front of their screens. We won. We didn't repeat the fate of the past life. We defended our home. We protected this azure ocean. General Zhao Yingquan stood at the bow of the research vessel, looking at me, tears streaming down his face. He gave me the most solemn military salute. Everyone on the ship also gave a military salute toward me. Haibai led the killer whale pod. Xiaohong led the Ocean Alliance, slowly gathered around me, gently rubbing my golden scales with their fins, letting out joyful calls. They had won this battle. They had protected their home. I looked at my companions around me, at the cheering crowd on the coastline, at this azure ocean that had regained its vitality. My heart was full of warmth. In my past life, I died in the mouths of alien beasts while protecting Huaxia, with endless regret and unwillingness. In this life, I was reborn as a young Megalodon. The first thing I did was to give myself to the country, launching the 1.4 billion people's nationwide feeding program. I devoured, evolved, and turned the tables all the way, ultimately reversing the apocalypse, defending the entire Blue Star. I did it! I protected everything I wanted to protect. The story ended perfectly and beautifully. The captured Dr. Ross' original body and his accomplices were put on trial by all of humanity, sentenced to life imprisonment. In prison, they spent the rest of their lives atoning for the sins they had committed. Countries around the world jointly enacted the strictest ocean protection convention in history, completely banned any form of nuclear wastewater discharge, established marine ecological reserves spanning 4 oceans, invested trillions of funds to restore the damaged ocean ecosystem, using every effort to protect this azure ocean that gave birth to life. The seas once polluted by nuclear radiation, under the power of ocean purification, regained their vitality. Coral reefs that had disappeared for years grew back with colorful corals. Migratory fish schools refilled the empty willows. Countless marine creatures returned to their homes. The entire ocean became vibrant again, more magnificent than ever before. As for me, the guardian of the ocean, the sea god of Huaxia, I did not stay in the distant ancient city of Atlantis. Instead, I returned to the East China Sea of Huaxia. The country designated a vast marine protection zone for me in the East China Sea. No pollution here, no fishing. It became a paradise for marine life, and also the most famous marine sanctuary in the world. Countless people came here from all over the world just to catch a glimpse of the sea god Megalodon, who protected the entire Blue Star. Even just seeing my tail fin from afar would make them cheer with joy. The nationwide feeding program of 1.4 billion people continued, even more lively than before. Every day, countless fishing boats brought the freshest, highest quality bait to the East China Sea, feeding me and my ocean companions. Netizens even gave this feeding activity a cute name, Feeding Shasha. Every day, people posted online the feeding preparations made by fishermen from various regions, preparing nutritious meals for me in all sorts of creative ways. On social media platforms, my exclusive topic dominated the trending list every day. Netizens gave me all kinds of cute nicknames. Shasha Juju Haishin Baby. Some even made emoji packs of me, edited daily video clips, asking for updates on me every day online, more concerned than about their own meals. Today, Shasha devoured 20 tons of top-grade bluefin tuna. The head captain said, Shasha swallowed half a boatload of fish in one go. The kids were stunned. OMG, I'm in the East China Sea protection zone. Captured Shasha surfing with Xiaohong and the ancient dolphin pod. She even uses her tail fin to splash water flowers for the kids. How can such a cute prehistoric creature exist? Latest news, Shasha achieved a new milestone, led the marine rescue team to save a fishing boat that ran aground on a reef. Now the entire internet is shouting Slayer God. I flicked my tail fin, swallowed a whole crate of fresh fish thrown from a bow ship in one gulp. The system notification sound kept ringing in my mind, like a cash register ringing non-stop. It made me very happy. Host successfully devoured top-grade bluefin. Tuna school gained 200 evolution points. Host level upgraded to level 40. Body length increased to 120 meters. Sea god body further purified. Immune to all physical and energy attacks. Detected that host's reputation has broken through the peak. Unlocked ocean purity ultimate passive. All non-mutated. Marine creatures will unconditionally obey the host's commands. I shook my head contentedly. My 120-meter-long body gently moved in the seawater, raising gentle waves several meters high. On the viewing platform ashore, countless tourists let out deafening cheers. A few kids held up drawing boards with my picture, leaning on the railing, waving their little hands, calling my name. I flicked my tail fin, sending a string of crystal water droplets, forming a rainbow of 7 colors under the sunlight, landing precisely in front of the viewing platform. The children's cheers grew even louder. Even the adults nearby couldn't help pulling out their phones, furiously recording this moment. Xiaohong beside me swung her thick tentacles, imitating me by splashing water, but used too much force. Splashed half the sea's water into the air, drenching the people on the shore coolly. Not only were the tourists not angry, they laughed even more happily, waving at Xiaohong non-stop. Xiaohong shyly retracted her tentacles. Hiding behind me, only a pair of round eyes peeked out, sneaking a look outside. Beibai led the fire dolphin pod, forming neat ranks at the perimeter of the protection zone, like a group of diligent security guards patrolling back and forth. Since the global alien beast tide ended, they became the Marine Rangers of the East China Sea, spending their days either driving away illegal fishing boats or rescuing stranded marine creatures, busying themselves happily. Even the East China Sea Scenic Area Administration sent them a banner reading Marine Guardians. Hanging on the most prominent place of the research vessel, life was leisurely and comfortable, eating top-grade ingredients fed by people nationwide every day, patrolling the East China Sea with my companions, occasionally visiting various sea areas around the world, purifying the remaining traces of radiation, rescuing ships and marine creatures in distress. Life couldn't be more comfortable. I once thought that the apocalyptic tragedy of my past life was completely in the past, that the days ahead would be this peaceful and beautiful forever. But I forgot. This unfathomable ocean always hides unknown secrets and dangers. That night, I was patrolling the deep sea with Xiaohong and Haibei, checking the recovery of the coral reefs. The system's red alert suddenly exploded without warning in my mind. A piercing alarm sound made all my golden scales instantly tense. Ding, top level warning. Detected abnormal energy fluctuations in the South Pacific Ocean. Radiation value exceeding critical level by 5,000 times. Top level warning. Detected awakening of ancient biological gene sequence. Source deepest part of the Tonga Trench, South Pacific. Top level warning. Detected large-scale mutated biological cluster appearing. Number exceeds 100,000. Rapidly moving towards surrounding sea areas. My heart sank heavily. Something's wrong. I clearly used ocean purification to completely purify the nuclear radiation in all global seas. Even the deepest trenches were not spared. How could such high radiation suddenly appear? And the awakening of ancient biological gene sequences? What exactly is hidden in the Tonga Trench? Haibei seemed to also sense the abnormal aura in the seawater. Let out a cautious cry. The 5 golden creatures immediately formed a battle formation, protecting me and Xiaohong in the middle. Xiaohong also put away her usual softness. Her thick tentacles instantly tensed up her eyes, fixedly staring into the dark deep sea. Ready for battle! I immediately used sound waves to give Haibei and Xiaohong commands, telling them to take the killer whale pod and immediately return to the East China Sea defense line. Report this anomaly to General Zhao Yingquan. Activate level 1 combat readiness. Meanwhile, I activated max level deep sea dash, heading toward the direction of the Tonga Trench in the South Pacific. Rushing at top speed, I had to go see what this sudden anomaly was all about. I absolutely could not let the hard-won piece of blue star fall into an apocalypse again. With deep sea dash activated, my speed reached its maximum. A journey of over 10,000 kilometers. It took me less than 2 hours. But when I arrived above the Tonga Trench, the sight before me made my eyes split with rage. The once clear South Pacific waters were now completely enveloped by thick black pollution. Countless dead marine creatures floated on the surface. Their bodies had undergone horrifying mutations, emitting a nauseating stench. And from deep within the Tonga Trench, black polluted liquid was continuously gushing out. Wherever it went, all marine creatures instantly mutated. All marine creatures instantly underwent a drastic mutation, turned into a mindless, bloodthirsty monster. Ding warning. Detected energy fluctuations from the remnant soul of the fallen sea god. Confirmed survival. Ding warning. Detected an ancient alien race. Life signals of the deep sea demon spirit clan. This race is an evil group sealed away by the Ocean Guardian. In ancient times, feeding on polluting the ocean and devouring all life highest level warning, the fallen sea god and the remnant soul have achieved symbiosis with the deep-sea demon spirit clan. An ancient seal is being unsealed. Estimated completion time, 72 hours warning. Demon spirit pollution detected spreading across global waters. Mutant creature attacks have already occurred along coastal defense lines. The system's alert sounds erupted one after another. Shocking waves surged in my heart. A complete reversal, a massive reversal. I thought I had completely eradicated the fallen sea god. But I never expected he had a backup plan. Long before I evolved and eliminated him, he had split off a remnant soul and fled to the Tonga Trench. He also unsealed the ancient, sealed deep-sea demon spirit clan. In the apocalypse of my previous life, there was never any deep-sea demon spirit clan. I immediately realized the beast nests in my previous life were merely the prelude to the demon spirit invasion. The reason humanity perished 99% within a month in the previous life wasn't purely because of beast nests. It was a full-scale invasion by the demon spirit clan, and the fallen sea god was just a pawn they pushed to the front. In the instant of my shock, a chilling, malevolent mental force suddenly emerged from the depths of the trench and coiled around my body. Then a voice familiar yet strange echoed in my mind. It was the voice of the fallen sea god whom I had destroyed. Long time no see. My dear successor. Didn't expect this, did you? I'm still alive. His voice carried a mad laughter. You thought purifying the ocean and destroying my main body was the end. How naive. You have no idea what kind of existence you're facing. In ancient times, the Ocean Guardian exhausted the power of their entire clan, just to seal us demon spirits deep in the trench. For 10 million years, we have finally awaited this day to see the light again. Wastewater is our key. The fallen sea god is our pawn. Even your rebirth was calculated by us. Why do you think you were reborn? Why did you awaken the devour-purification system? That was the Ocean Guardian's last remnant struggling. He wanted to choose a successor to stop me. But unfortunately, the successor he chose you is still too weak. My pupils suddenly contracted. Another twist. My rebirth. My system neither was an accident. It was the last remains of the ancient Ocean Guardian, choosing me to be reborn and stop the demon spirit invasion. And everything I had experienced before was merely a massive scheme by the demon spirit clan to completely dismantle the Ocean Guardian faction. You thought you inherited the sea god core? That was just bait deliberately left for you by us demon spirits. The remnant soul of the fallen sea god let out a piercing mad laugh. When you used it to purify the ocean, you were unknowingly dismantling the global seal nodes. Now all seals are loosened. Our demon spirit army will soon surge out from every trench. The entire blue star will become our prize. And you, this perfect body fused with the sea god core and the ancient Megalodon bloodline, will become the vessel for our demon spirit main force. Before the words faded, from deep within the Tonga Trench, a terrifyingly extreme energy wave suddenly erupted. Countless black figures surged out from the trench depths. They had dark scales covering their bodies, the upper body of a human and the lower body of a fish. Their bodies were covered with pitch-black scales. They had the upper body of a human and the lower body of a fish. In their hands, they held long spears forged from deep-sea iron. Pairs of crimson eyes stared dead at me, radiating bloodthirsty malice. At the head was a demon spirit warrior over 100 meters long. In his hand he held a massive ancient blade. His aura was no less than the original body of the fallen sea god I had faced before. He looked at me and let out a hoarse roar, instantly leading the demon spirit army, charging straight at me. Ding warning host surrounded by 100,000 demon spirit army troops. Highest enemy combat level 45. Far exceeds host's current level. Evacuate immediately. Enemy warning detected. Seals in all major oceanic trenches worldwide are loosening simultaneously. The demon spirit army is fully awakening. Estimated global waters will be completely overrun within 24 hours. I knew very well that fighting head-on now meant certain death. The demon spirit clan's strength far exceeded my imagination, and the fallen sea god's remnant soul was lurking in the shadows, corroding. Once I was entangled, I would have no chance to escape. As long as the Green Mountain remains, there will be no shortage of firewood. I must return to the East China Sea immediately. Find a way to counter this. Uncover the truth behind the Ocean Guardian's legacy. I must never let Langston fall into the demon spirit clan's hands. I suddenly opened my giant mouth wide, letting out a deafening sea god's roar. The god-level sonic skill erupted with full force. The demon spirit warriors at the very front were instantly shattered into fragments. Black blood stained the entire sea region. Then I triggered max-level short-range acceleration. My 120-meter-long body shot forward like a golden golden lightning bolt, instantly breaking through the demon spirit encirclement, racing madly toward the East China Sea of Huaxia. Behind me, the demon spirit army pursued relentlessly. Countless black energy attacks slammed heavily into me. I activated God-level high-strength defense. A golden shield enveloped my entire body. I forcefully endured all the attacks while my speed did not slow down at all. Ding host attacked by demon spirit dark energy. Sea god body corroded. Self-healing ability decreased by 30%. Ding warning. Global coastal defense lines have been attacked by demon spirit mutated creatures. Multiple lines in danger. Enemy warning. Demon spirit pollution fluctuations detected in East China Sea waters. Defense line has activated highest level red combat readiness. My heart sank to the bottom. Still one step too late. The demon spirit invasion was faster than I imagined. I had to get back as soon as possible, or the tragedy of the previous life would repeat in an even more tragic way. Racing all the way. It only took 1 hour to return to the East China Sea waters, but the scene before me made my heart instantly tighten. The originally blue and clear East China Sea now had black pollution belts. Countless mutated marine creatures were madly assaulting the coastal defense line. Sounds of gunfire roars, and alarms filled the sky. General Zhao Yingquan stood on the command ship, his expression grave as he directed the battle. The soldiers held their ground at the defense line, not a step back. Haibai led the Orcapod. Zhou led the Marine Coalition, right at the forefront of the defense line, fighting fiercely against the mutated creatures. Haibai's body already had several wounds, so deep the bone was visible. Blood stained the surrounding seawater red, yet he still led the Orcapod, charging again and again at the mutated creatures, firmly blocking the advancing tide. Xiao Hong was not in good shape either. Several of his tentacles had been bitten off by the mutated creatures, although thanks to the Leviathan's regenerative ability, they grew back. His aura had weakened considerably, yet he still held the front line, buying time for the human soldiers behind to attack. Seeing me return, Haibai let out a cry that was both excited and exhausted. Xiao Hong also emitted a plaintive and urgent low sound toward me. I looked at my companions covered in wounds, looked at the soldiers, fighting with bloodshed at the line. A towering rage erupted from deep within my heart. How dare they touch my people? How dare they invade my home? I suddenly opened my massive mouth wide. God-level sonic skill erupted with full power. The mutated creatures assaulting the line instantly had their brains burst from the shock and sank one after another toward the seabed. Then I triggered the ocean cleansing passive, issued combat orders to all marine creatures in the East China Sea. Instantly, countless schools of fish, shark groups, whale groups surged in from all directions, joining the battle, forming a mighty marine coalition, launching a counterattack against the mutant creatures. Ding host successfully commanded all marine creatures in the East China Sea. Marine coalition size exceeds 1 million. Ding host successfully repelled the mutant creature attack in the East China Sea, gained 1,000 evolution points. Ding host level increased to level 42. Body length increased to 130 meters. Sea god body corrosion effect cleared. The crisis at the defense line was instantly resolved. When the soldiers saw I had returned, they erupted into deafening cheers. I slowly swam to the command ship. Using Morse code, I told General Zhao Yingquan everything about the discovery in the Tonga Trench, the truth of the demon spirit clan, and the conspiracy of the fallen sea god's hidden soul, word for word. After hearing it, General Zhao Yingquan's face turned pale. The command baton in his hand fell heavily onto the deck. He had studied the ocean all his life, never knowing that deep in the sea, there was still such a terrifying ancient race, and never knowing that all our previous victories were merely traps carefully set by the enemy. Sea God, what should we do now? General Zhao Yingquan's voice carried a hint of urgency, yet no panic at all. Defense lines of all the countries worldwide have already sounded the alarm. The Luolin clan's pollution is spreading at an alarming rate. At most 3 days, and the entire ocean will be completely polluted. Just then, Zia, who rushed over with his deep-sea exploration team, carrying a tablet, his expression extremely grave. General Sea God, we have just deciphered the ancient inscriptions sent back from the Atlantis ruins and discovered the whole truth about the Ocean Guardian and the Demon Spirit Clan. In ancient times, to fight against the Demon Spirit Clan, the Ocean Guardian race sealed the power of their entire clan inside the Sea God core. Only a successor with a true heart of guardianship can unlock all the power inside the core. What you unlocked before was only 1/10 of the Sea God core's power. To unlock the ultimate power of the Sea God core, you need to collect the 5 guardian fragments scattered in the depths of the 5 major oceans across the globe. These 5 fragments are sealed respectively in the Mariana Trench, the Tonga Trench, the Puerto Rico Trench, the Kuril Trench, and the deepest part of the Peru-Chile Trench. Only by collecting all the fragments can you fully awaken the Sea God core, eliminate the Demon Spirit Clan, and reseal all the trench nodes worldwide. My heart suddenly jolted, so that's it. No wonder I had felt that the power of the Sea God core hasn't reached its full extent. So I had only unlocked 1/10 of its strength. To completely eliminate the Demon Spirit Clan, I must collect all 5 Guardian fragments and awaken the ultimate power of the Sea God core. But these 5 fragments are hidden in the deepest trenches of the 5 oceans. And now, all these trenches have become nests of the Demon Spirit Clan. To collect the fragments, I must break through layer after layer of demon spirit defenses and go deep into their lair. This is undoubtedly like pulling teeth from a tiger's mouth. Situation of 9 deaths and 1 life. As I was pondering the plan, the system's alert tone suddenly rang in my mind. Detected ultimate main quest Guardian's Legacy. Quest objective triggered. Collect the 5 Guardian fragments hidden in the depths of the 5 major oceans. Awaken the ultimate power of the Sea God core. Completely eliminate the demon spirit. Clan and reseal all global trench nodes. Safeguard the peace of Blue Star. Quest rewards. Unlock the Ocean Guardian's ultimate God-level form. All skills break through the God-level cap. Gain permanent ownership of Blue Star's oceans. System permanent binding. Unlock infinite evolution potential. Quest failure punishment full demon spirit invasion. Langston completely falls. All life goes extinct. I stared at the quest on the system panel. My eyes instantly became extremely resolute. In my previous life, I was willing to risk my life to protect Huaxia. In this life, to protect the entire Langston, to protect the 1.4 billion compatriots behind me, to protect all life, even if it's 9 deaths and 1 life. Even if it's a sea of knives and a mountain of fire I dare to charge through, I immediately use Morse code. To tell General Zhao Yingquan my plan, we would divide into 5 paths. Global coordination. Human forces would hold the global coastal defense lines and repel the demon spirit attacks, while I with my marine coalition would head to the 5 ocean trenches to collect the Guardian fragments. General Zhao Yingquan did not hesitate at all. He immediately nodded in agreement. He contacted the high-level officials of all countries worldwide as soon as possible, telling them the truth about the Berlin clan and my plan. In full, within just 1 hour, all countries in the world reached a consensus, forming a global joint defense line, pooling the strength of all humanity to buy me time. Hold the coastal defense lines. Cover me in collecting the Guardian fragments. Suwon led the world's top medical teams and formed dozens of battlefield medical squads, deploying to all defense lines around the world, ready at all times to treat wounded soldiers and marine creatures. Xiaoyu led the deep sea exploration team, providing me with satellite navigation and seabed, terrain detection 24/7. Precisely locating each Guardian fragment's position, Zhao Hu led the national fishing fleet teams, formed a maritime supply fleet, providing continuous supplies. To the global defense lines and my marine coalition, replenishment. Jeremy Wade traveled across all ocean regions worldwide. Using his influence, he called on global marine protection organizations to join the fight, to protect this blue ocean together. Achang led the indigenous tribes of the Arctic, formed the Arctic Defense Line, fiercely held the entrance of the Arctic Ocean, blocking the Demon Spirit Army, surging from the Arctic Trench. Those who sacrificed to protect humanity in the previous life stood shoulder to shoulder with me again in this life. Early the next morning, the global joint operation officially began. Coastal defense lines worldwide opened fire simultaneously. Countless shells slammed heavily into the marine mutant creatures. The human army held fast at the defense lines, engaging in a life and death struggle with the vanguard of the Demon Spirit Clan, and I divided into 5 paths, starting the journey to collect the Guardian fragments. Haibai led the main force of the Orcapod, heading to the Arctic's Kuril Trench to find the first Guardian fragment. Xiaohong led the Deep Sea Coalition with Leviathan Bloodline, heading to the Atlantic's Puerto Rico Trench to find the second Guardian fragment. I contacted the Emperor Penguin Colony in Antarctica and the Blue Whale Pods. They formed the Antarctic Coalition, heading to the South Pacific's Peru, Chile Trench to find the third Guardian fragment. Jeremy Wade led the world's top deep sea exploration team, together with my Marine Coalition, heading to the Mariana Trench to find the fourth Guardian fragment, and I personally headed to the Demon Spirit Clan's main base, the South Pacific Tonga Trench, to find the last, most core Guardian fragment. This road was destined to be filled with danger and slaughter, but not one of us retreated. To protect this ocean, to protect our home, we had no choice. When I arrived at the Tonga Trench again, it had completely become the Demon Spirit clan's lair. Countless demon spirit warriors patrolled around the trench. Black pollution continuously spewed from the trench depths. The entire sea area exuded a suffocating malevolence. I triggered max level disguise mastery and simulated my body into a giant underwater rock. Suppressed all my aura. Silent and undetected, I advanced toward the trench depths, moving deep underwater. With the skill fully triggered, even the top-tier demon spirit warriors could not detect my traces. The deeper I went into the trench, the more demon spirit there were around, and the more severe the pollution became. Even my sea god body felt a bone-piercing chill. On the system panel, the radiation value was skyrocketing, already tens of thousands of times past the critical threshold. Ding detected Guardian fragment signal. Location deepest parts of the Tonga Trench. Demon Spirit main force sealing ground. Ding. Warning detected life signals of the Demon Spirit main force. Level far exceeds current. Cognitive threat level. Currently in a sealed sleeping state. Will awaken soon. My heart sank heavily. So the core Guardian fragment was actually right at the sealing ground of the Demon Spirit main force. And the reason the fallen sea god's remnant soul hid here was to awaken the Demon Spirit main force. Once the main force awoke, the entire Langston would be completely finished. I did not hesitate at all, continuing deeper into the trench. Even if ahead lay a dragon's pool or a tiger's den, I had to break in and get the Guardian fragment. This was our only chance. 2 hours later, I finally reached the deepest part of the Tonga Trench. This was one of the deepest places on Earth. The water pressure could crush the hardest alloy. Yet here, a huge black palace had been built. Around the palace, countless ancient sealing runes were carved. This was indeed the sealing ground of the Demon Spirit main force. In the very center of the palace, a golden rhomboid fragment floated, emitting a warm and vast power. It was the core Guardian fragment I was looking for, and below the fragment, a boundless black thick mist was sealed. Inside it hid a figure of terrifying proportions. The sleeping demon spirit main force, and the remnant soul of the fallen sea god, was floating beside the fragment, continuously using dark energy to strike the protective shield around the fragment, muttering over and over, "Soon, soon." Once this last shield is broken, the main force will fully awaken. The entire blue star will become our domain. I stared at the Guardian fragment so close, and instantly formed a plan in my mind. Now was the best chance. Catch him off guard and win in one strike. Grab the fragment and retreat immediately. I suddenly canceled the disguise mastery. Short-range acceleration instantly pushed to the limit. My 130-meter-long golden body shot out like lightning. In the instant before the remnant soul of the fallen sea god could react, I bit down on the Guardian fragment. Ding successfully obtained. The core Guardian fragment from the Tonga Trench collected 1/5 fragments. Sea god core power unlocked 20%. Ocean purification skill. Power doubled. Can purify demon spirit dark pollution. The instant the system prompt sounded, the remnant soul of the fallen sea god finally reacted. When he saw the Guardian fragment in my mouth, he let out a hysterical roar. "It's you! How dare you break in? Put down the fragment!" He instantly transformed into a black torrent and charged fiercely at me. The surrounding Moling warriors also reacted instantly. Countless black attacks raining down on me. I didn't engage them in a prolonged fight. The moment I grabbed the fragment, I triggered Deep Sea Dash. Turning around, I frantically rushed out of the trench. At the same time, I opened my massive jaws and unleashed the upgraded Ocean Evolution. A dazzling golden light burst from my mouth. Wherever it went, the black pollution was instantly purified. The rushing Moling warriors let out blood-curdling screams. Their bodies gradually dissolved in the golden light. The remnant soul of the fallen sea god was also swept by the golden light, letting out a painful roar. His aura instantly weakened considerably. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I rushed out of the Tangia Trench in an instant, speeding rapidly towards the East Sea. But before I could get far, from deep within the trench, a terrifying aura of extreme power suddenly erupted. A black energy wave, like a tsunami, fiercely chased after me. It was the Moling main force. He had been awakened. The black energy wave caught up to me in an instant, slamming fiercely onto my back. Even my god-level high defense was shattered instantly. It felt like I was hit by an asteroid, crashing heavily onto the seabed. A mouthful of golden blood spurted from my mouth. Warning host under attack by Moling main force. Severely injured. Sea god body on the verge of breaking. Warning Moling main force seal loosening. About to fully awaken. Global trench seals collapsing simultaneously. I gritted my teeth, enduring the excruciating pain all over my body. Triggered short-range acceleration again, and rushed forward recklessly. The black mist behind me kept closing in. The roars of the Moling main force echoed like a curse, ringing continuously in my mind, making me dizzy. At this critical moment of life and death, a familiar sound suddenly came from ahead. Hebei had brought the killer whale group. They rushed over from the Chandao Trench to support me. Hebei led the killer whale group, charging like black lightning, shielding me from behind. Facing the pursuing black mist, they let out deafening cries. Using their bodies, they built a defensive line for me. Immediately after, Xiaohong also rushed over with the deep-sea allied forces. He had successfully obtained the Puerto Rico Trench Guardian fragment. Countless thick tentacles slammed heavily onto the sea surface, stirring up monstrous waves, blocking the pursuit of the Moling army. Ding successfully obtained Chandao Trench Guardian fragment and 2/5 fragments. Sea God core power unlocked 40%. Ding successfully obtained Puerto Rico Trench Guardian fragment and 3/5 fragments. Sea God core power unlocked 60%. Ding Sea God body fully repaired. Level increased to 45. Body length increased to 150 meters. The power of the 3 fragments merged instantly. A massive force swept through my entire body. My injuries healed instantly. My power surged several times. I turned to look at the pursuing Moling army, opened my massive jaws and let out a Sea God -AR. The upgraded sonic skill instantly swept out. The pursuing Moling army was instantly shattered by the vibration. The remnant soul of the fallen sea god was also swept by the sonic wave, letting out a desperate scream. Completely shattered by the roar, he was annihilated. Not a trace remained. This evil, fallen sea god finally disappeared from this world forever. But we had no time to celebrate, because the Mariana Trench and the Peru-Chile Trench simultaneously reported urgent news. The main force of the Moling clan was besieging those 2 sea areas. The allied forces guarding the fragments were about to collapse. I immediately gave orders. Divide into 2 groups. Hebei leads the killer whale group to the Peru-Chile Trench for support. I, with Xiaohong and the deep-sea allied forces, head to the Mariana Trench for support. A global-scale war had fully begun. When I brought Xiaohong to the Mariana Trench, the battle there was already at its peak. Jeremy and Wade led the expedition team and the combined ocean forces, surrounded by hundreds of thousands of Moling troops, running out of ammunition and supplies. The trench seal had been completely broken, countless Moling warriors pouring out from the trench endlessly. The besieged allied forces immediately burst into deafening cheers. Without any hesitation, I led Xiaohong and the deep-sea allies straight into the Moling encirclement, like a golden blade, tearing open a gap. Ocean purification at full power. Wherever the golden light went, the Moling dissolved. The black pollution instantly purified. The devour skill was also triggered simultaneously. For every Moling warrior I devoured, my evolution points skyrocketed. My power grew stronger. Ding Host successfully devoured Moling Elite Warrior. Obtained 500 evolution points. Host level increased to 48. Body length increased to 180 meters. Ding successfully obtained Mariana Trench, Guardian Fragment, and 4/5 fragments. Sea God core power unlocked 80%. Ding unlocked God level skill Wrath of the Sea God. Can mobilize the power of the ocean to deal devastating damage to targets. The moment I got the 4th fragment, Hebei also sent good news. They had successfully repelled the Moling forces at the Peru-Chile Trench and obtained the last Guardian fragment. Successfully collected all 5 Guardian fragments. Ultimate power of Sea God core unlocked. Ding, congratulations, host! Successfully inherited the ancient Ocean Guardian lineage. Unlocked Ocean Guardian ultimate God level form. All skills break through God level limits. Ocean purification can cover all global sea areas, completely eradicating all Moling pollution. Ding acquired full control of global oceans. Can mobilize all ocean forces worldwide with a single thought. Overturn seas and rivers. The system notification sounds exploded one after another. 5 golden guardian fragments merged instantly in my consciousness, turning into a dazzling golden light that completely fused with the Sea God core. An indescribably immense power, like the Big Bang, exploded within my body. My body grew rapidly in the golden light, surging from 180 meters all the way to 300 meters. Golden scales covered my entire body. Countless ancient guardian runes lit up on my body. I could clearly feel the currents of every ocean in the world, the movement of every fish, the rise and fall of every seabed, all under my control. I am the ocean. The ocean is me. Just as I fully awakened my ultimate form, from the direction of the Tangjia Trench, world-shattering black energy suddenly erupted. The Moling main force completely broke the seal. The entire blue planet violently trembled. Trenches in all major oceans simultaneously surged with endless black figures. All the forces of the Moling clan finally poured out. The sky was shrouded in black mist. Sunlight could no longer reach the sea surface. The whole world seemed to have instantly fallen into hell. The The figure of the moling main force slowly rose from the Tangjia Trench. His body length exceeded 1,000 meters, his entire form shrouded in black mist. A pair of blood-red eyes, like two bloody moons, locked onto my position. Pathetic guardian inheritor? Do you think collecting the fragments can stop me? His voice resounded across the entire blue planet, whether on land or in the ocean. All living beings could clearly hear his voice. Tens of thousands of years ago, your ancestors went all out but couldn't kill me, only seal me. And you think you can stop me like a mantis trying to stop a chariot? Now I give you two choices. Either offer your body as my vessel, and I will spare humanity, letting them become our slaves, or I will crush you completely, and let all life on the blue planet be buried with you. I looked at his sky-covering body, felt his terrifyingly immense power, but felt no fear in my heart. Tens of thousands of years ago, my ancestors could seal you. Tens of thousands of years later, I can completely destroy you. I slowly raised my head, facing him, and let out a sky-shaking roar. My voice through the ocean spread to every corner of the planet, clearly reaching everyone's ears. I give you two choices as well. Either crawl back to your trench and be sealed again, and I will leave your body whole. Or I will use the power of the ocean to erase you and your moling tribe from this world completely. This ocean is the cradle of life, not your playground for evil deeds. This blue planet is our home. You have no right to run wild here. As my words fell, the global oceans responded to my roar, stirring up monstrous waves. Countless marine creatures surged from every sea, forming a mighty ocean-allied force. Behind me, standing shoulder to shoulder with me, on the coastlines, human armies across the globe simultaneously raised their weapons. All artillery fire was aimed at the moling main force in the sky. Billions of people worldwide stood together, fighting alongside me in their own ways. The moling main force, enraged by my words, let out a deafening roar. The black mist in the entire sky transformed into countless black power streams, slamming down fiercely at me and the entire earth. You reckless fool, since you seek death, I will grant you that wish. I will make the entire blue planet your tomb. Watching the descending black power, I remained completely calm. I slowly opened my giant jaws, mobilized all the ocean forces of the globe, and unleashed my ultimate miracle. The strongest power of the ancient ocean guardian. Blue tide surging. In an instant, all the oceans of the world rose into the air at this moment. The boundless seawater turned into a golden water bridge connecting heaven and earth, shielding before the black blades. Countless golden water dragons soared from the sea, charging fiercely at the moling main force. The golden water dragons and the black blades collided. The entire world let out a deafening roar. The black blades were instantly torn apart by the water dragons. The golden tide, like a tsunami, swept toward the moling main force. The moling main force let out an incredulous roar. He couldn't understand how I could mobilize the ocean power of the entire blue planet. He frantically erupted with dark energy, trying to block the advance of the golden tide. But his dark energy, before the power of the ocean guardian, was like snow and ice under the scorching sun, instantly melting. The golden tide instantly engulfed his body. I activated max-level ocean purification. Boundless golden light completely enveloped him. He let out a blood-curdling scream, his enormous body gradually dissolving in the golden light, piece by piece. Impossible! Impossible! I waited tens of thousands of years. I am not willing. Those were his last words, left in this world. Then his entire body was completely purified by the golden light, vanishing between heaven and earth. Not a trace remaining. With the complete destruction of the moling main force, the global black mist instantly dissipated. Sunlight shone once again on the sea surface. I once again activated ocean purification. The golden light, like a tide, swept through every sea area on the planet. Every trench. All black pollution was completely purified. All remaining moling forces were completely eliminated. This global crisis was finally ended completely. When the golden light faded, sunlight once again filled the blue planet. The previously polluted oceans returned to their clear blue color. The sea sparkled under the sun. Countless marine creatures swam happily in the water. On the coastline, there was first a dead silence, then deafening cheers erupted. Countless people hugged and wept, waving towards the ocean, shouting, "We won! We completely won! We defended our home!" Congratulations, host successfully eliminated the moling main force, completely eradicated the entire moling clan, completed the ultimate main quest Guardian's Inheritance. Congratulations, host. You have become the sole guardian of the blue planet's oceans. Acquired permanent absolute control over the blue planet's oceans. Ding system has completed its ultimate mission. Will be permanently bound to the host. Unlocked infinite evolution authority. Accompanying the host to guard the ocean. Ding all lives prosperity maxed. Ding acquired title Blue Planet Sea God I. slowly descended onto the sea surface. My 300-meter-long body radiated a soft golden light under the sun. Haibei led the killer whale group. Zhou led the deep-sea allied forces, along with billions of marine creatures from around the world, all gathered around me, letting out joyous calls. General Zhao Yingquan, along with representatives from countries around the world, arrived before me on a research vessel. This white-haired veteran general bowed deeply to me. Representatives of all nations also bowed to me in unison, expressing their highest respect. Thank you, Sea God. Thank you for protecting the entire blue planet. I gently waved my tail fin, stirring up a gentle wave. I told them in Morse code, "You're welcome." Protecting this ocean, protecting this home, is the responsibility of me and every living being. The ending of the story was more perfect than anyone imagined. The Moling clan was completely eliminated, the Fallen. Sea God was also completely annihilated. Global nuclear radiation and pollution were completely purified. Countries around the world jointly issued the Blue Planet Ocean Protection Convention, the strictest and most comprehensive ocean protection act in history. All nuclear pollution discharge was completely banned. Illegal fishing was completely eliminated. Hundreds of marine ecological reserves were established globally. Trillions of funds were invested to restore the marine ecosystem. The previously destroyed coral reefs regained colorful corals, becoming a paradise for fish. The once endangered marine species began to recover rapidly. The entire ocean became vibrant again, more splendid and beautiful than ever before. As the guardian of the blue planet's oceans, I did not retreat to the ancient city of Atlantis, but remained in the East Sea of China. The marine reserve expanded by the country for me became the world's most famous ocean sanctuary. Everyday tourists from all over the world came here to see the giant sea god shark that protected the entire blue planet, to learn about ocean protection, and to experience the beauty of the ocean. Every day, fishing boats from around the world brought the freshest and finest ingredients to the East Sea to feed me and my ocean companions. Netizens joked. Now all the top fishing grounds in the world pride themselves on being able to supply me. With one mouthful, I can feed half the world's fishermen. I did not let down everyone's love. Every day I take Xiaohong and Haibei on patrols in the reserve, performing water-splashing tricks for the children who come to see me, painting rainbows, and occasionally leading gentle whale groups to sail alongside sightseeing boats, bringing countless surprises to tourists. In my spare time, I lead my ocean allied forces on patrols across all seas, cleaning up ocean garbage, rescuing injured marine animals, fighting illegal fishing, and guarding this blue ocean. I also, together with Jiayu's team, explored countless unknown secrets in the deep sea, discovered hundreds of new marine species, and uncovered countless ancient ocean secrets, giving humanity a deeper understanding and reverence for the ocean. I know my guardianship will never end. As long as this ocean needs me, as long as my home needs me, I will always be here, the sea god of China, the ocean guardian of the blue planet, using everything I have to protect this cradle of life.